Hi everyone, I'm Junhao and I'm back with another video. Okay, this video we will do a maths paper. Okay, this is the Selangor paper. So it's the Selangor trial for 2025 and it's the maths paper 1. Okay, alright, so if you want more, make sure you subscribe to my channel lah. Alright, so I'm gonna start now. Okay, number 1. Which of the following is true? So I think I have to go through all the A, B, C, D and see which one is true. So the first one, cube root 216 is smaller than square root 81. So you can use your calculator for this part. Just press cube root 16 and you will get 6. And then smaller than square root 81 is 9. For the next one, square root 144, that's going to be 12. And then smaller than cube root 16, you already pressed just now is 6. And then square root 144, same like just now, 12 also. Smaller than cube root 343, that's going to be 7. Yeah, you can use your calculator to help you. And then cube root 343 again, so 7 also. And then square root 81 is 9, right? And the symbol is smaller than. So now let's check which one is true. 6 smaller than 9, this is true. 12 smaller than 6, this is false. 12 smaller than 7, no. 12 is not smaller than 7. 7 is smaller than 9, yeah, this is true. So there's actually two answers, right? Yeah, A and D. Yeah, so there's two answers for this question lah. So I think there's a mistake here. Yeah, it should be only one true here, right? But there's two answer that is true. So I think there's two answers here lah. Okay, yeah, because A and D are both true. So yeah, that's two answers for this question. If you look at the schema also, they write the same thing. Yeah, that's two answers. Okay, so that's all for this. Let's continue. All right, Ali has a Rubik's Cube as shown in the diagram 1. So this is a Rubik's Cube. Volume of Rubik's Cube is 512 cm cube. Okay, let's talk about cube. Cube, dia punya side semua mesti sama panjang, right? So we don't have the length of side here, but we know the volume is 512. So we know this one times this one times this one will give you 512 cm cube. And then they say calculate the total surface area in cm square of the cube. All right, let's talk about the formula for volume of cube and the surface area of cube. TSA stands for total surface area. Okay, what is the volume isi padu of cube? It will be x power 3, where x is the side of the cube, right? Yeah, it's the x is the side. So that's how you find volume. Now let's talk about total surface area formula. For cube, the total surface area will be 6x square. Okay, because total surface area means you are finding the luas permukaan, the area of the surface. So if you find the area of this surface, it's going to be x times x, which is x square. But why you have to times 6 is because there are 6 surface. Depan, belakang, atas, bawah, kiri, kanan. So satu permukaan is x square, but you have 6 permukaan same size, so it will be x square times 6. That's why the formula is like this. So now we can apply this formula into our working. The volume is 512. That means x times x times x gives you 512. That means x power 3 equals 512. Because the V volume is 512, right? And also the unit is in cm cube. So later, when you do cube root, what's happened to the cm cube is when you cube root the cm cube, the 3 and 3 cut already, so you left with cm. So when you tekan cube root 512, you're gonna get 8, and automatic it will be in cm. Now they say total surface area in cm square, which is good because now my side is also in cm. So you want to find in cm square, no problem. Just use the formula 6 times x square. And then the x is 8. Okay, the 8 is in cm. When you square it, it becomes cm square already. So the unit match with the unit they want already. So 8 square times 6, you use your calculator, you would get 384, and the unit automatic in cm square. Okay, so the answer is D. Alright, that's all. Okay, number 3. This is a lower form chapter. Yeah, you learn this in lower form, standard form. Express 0.00000197 in standard form. Standard form means bentuk piawai, and bentuk piawai means they need to write it in this form, a times 10 power n. Okay, a times 10 power n. But you have to make sure the a number can have decimal point, but before the decimal point can only have one digit, and that digit cannot be 0. So if you look at this, the decimal point is here, and tell me what's before the decimal point. It's a 0, so cannot. Yeah, the a cannot have 0 before the decimal point. That means we have to move the decimal point, and you have to remember one thing: when you're moving the decimal point to the left, the 10 power have to plus, and then if you're moving to the right, the power have to minus. The n lah, basically the n have to minus. So now tell me where you should move your decimal point. Of course, to the right. If you're moving to the left, you're not gonna get a digit that is not 0 before the decimal point. Understand? So you have to move to the right, and where you have to move it, you have to move it until it reach here, correct? Because this is when the decimal point is here, and before the decimal point, you see got one digit which is not zero, which is one, right? So you have to move until it becomes 1.97 like this, because that's the condition for the a value. It has to be okay. It needs to have decimal point, and before the decimal can only have one digit. That and that digit cannot be zero. All right. So you're moving to the right. So later the 10 power have to put negative. Yeah, because moving to the right means negative. But negative berapa? Okay, you move how many times? One, two, three, four, five. So negative five. So A is the answer. All right, that's all. Number four, this one is from 4 chapter 2, number base. It's called Asas Nombor. All right, express 5 bracket 5 power 3 plus 2 times 5 power 2 in base 5. Okay, there's two methods to do this. One is the shortcut method, one is the slow method. Okay, what's the slow method? The slow method is you tekan this whole thing in your calculator, and the calculator, and then after you tekan all this, you tekan equal, and the answer, the calculator will give you one answer, but the answer that calculator give you will be in base 10 lah. This is the slow method. After you get the base 10, then you take this number, you divide by 5 because you want to change to base 5, right? And then you do, and then after you get all your remainder, baca dari bawah ke atas, then bulat the answer. Okay, yeah, that's the slow way. And I'm not gonna do it like that. I'm not gonna do it like that. I will show you the fast way to do it. Okay, what's the fast way to do it? Okay, if they want the number in base 5, what is the place value for a base 5 number? So for example, if I have a base 5 number today, and we have, like, let's say 5 digits, right? Let's say I have 5 digits. What would be the place value for this last digit right here? It will be 5 power 0, right? Yeah, place value means nilai tempat. The nilai tempat will be 5 power 0, and this will be 5 power 1, this will be 5 power 2, 5 power 3, 5 power 4, right? And since they want base 5, and you can see in the question, it's all base 5, 5 power, right? Okay, I know the 2 don't have lah, but it's okay. The 2 don't have is because it's 2 times 5 power 0. Yeah, that's why it's just a 2 like that. Okay. And also, the 5 you can expand, right? Because inside bracket there's 3 terms. So you can take the 5, multiply with the 3 terms, right? Okay, so let's do that now. 5 times 5 power 3 will be 5 power 4. Because when you have same base times, the power need to plus. So 5 power 1 times 5 power 3, 5 power 4 plus. 2 times 5 will be 10, but don't write 10. You want to write it like this, 2 times 5. Okay? Because if you're using the shortcut way, you have to write it like this. And then plus with 5 power 2 times 5 power 1, 5 power 3. Okay? So now what we have to do? We have to look at the highest power here, the highest power for base 5, because we are changing to base 5, right? So you can see this 5 power 4, this one is 5 power 1, this one is 5 power 3. It means if the highest 5 power is 5 power 4, that means there's 5 digit lah. What if the highest power here is 5 power 7? It means there'll be 8 digit. Yeah, because you start with 5 power 0 here. So if 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there'll be 9 digit. But if 5 power 4, there'll be 5 digits, right? And then what you have to do now is you can see the 5 power 4 times berapa. Dia darab dengan berapa. So you can see 5 power 4 beside they never times anything. That means it's 1. And then next one is 5 power 1, and you can see it has times 2. That means you have to go to 5 power 1 here and write 2. Now for the 5 power 3, they never times anything here, means times 1. So 5 power 3, you write 1. Then what about the 5 power 2 and 5 power 0? They want just put 0, 0. So the answer is B, boy. So you all can use this method when the question and the base have the same base. For example, they want base 5, but in the question is like also 5 power something, 5 power something. Then you can use this method. Okay. What if it's base 7? Then you try to check and see whether the question is like got 7 power, 7 power, 7 power. And if you have, then straight away look at the highest power, the 7 punya highest power, and that will tell you how many digit you have. And after you put in the how many digit, then you just put in the number lah. See whether the place value times with berapa, and then just write the number down like that. Okay, hope you understand. This is how you do it. Oh, just one more thing. Imagine if I want to change this back to base 10. Contoh lah, I want to change this back to base 10. What's gonna happen? You will get back this, right? Yeah, surely you'll get back this. Because when you change a smaller base like base 5 to base 10, you will take the place value, multiply, darab dengan bawah. So 5 power 4 times 1, that gives you 5 power 4. 5 power 3 times 1, you see, you get back here. And then this one 0 tak payah, 0 tak payah. 5 power 1 times 2 is here. Did you realize when you change back to base 10, you get back exactly like this? Yeah, so it means you do it correct already. Okay, so hope you get it lah. Alright, I'll continue now. Okay, number 5. What chapter is this? Oh, another number-based question from 4, chapter 2 also. Asas nombor. Okay, a wire with a length of 120 base 9 cm is formed into a triangle PQR. Okay, I think I should draw it out. Yeah. So it's always helpful to draw out the diagram so that we can imagine the problem better. Okay, so the triangle, but they never say it's isosceles or right angle, so I can just simply draw a regular normal triangle. It's okay if the drawing is wrong because yeah, this is paper one. We don't really care about the. They don't really look at the working. Okay, given the length of the side PQ is 34 base 9 cm. You see, this is why you should draw it out because now you can label already 34. Sorry, you should say this as 34. Don't call it 34 because it's not base 10, right? It's base 9. So you should read it as 34 base 9. QR is 52 base 9, right? And then PR they never give. Okay. Calculate the length of PR in base 9. So they want to find this one. Lah. But that one is base 9. Okay, in base 9. And how to find the PR? Well, just take the 120 base 9 minus 34 minus 52. Lah. Yeah, because that's how you when you form the triangle, the wire length is 120 base 9, right? So it means the perimeter will be 120 base 9. So now what I have to do, take the 120 base 9 minus this to get PR. Okay. Okay, this one you cannot use calculator. Yeah, the calculator doesn't work. If you press 120 minus 34 minus 52, the calculator will give you the wrong answer. Yeah, you can only tekan like that when it's base 10. Okay. And also your calculator don't have the option to change to base 9. Yeah, your calculator can only change to base 2, base 5, I mean base 8. Yeah, I think, yeah. So you can't change to base 9 lah. So I have to do it myself using the vertical method. Okay, since the soalan also want base 9 and you can see everything is in base 9. So I think it's best not to change to base 10. Okay, of course you want to change everything base 10 also can. Like this one convert base 10, this one convert base 10, and then this one convert base 10, and then take your calculator, this one minus this one minus this one, and then after minus, you will get PR length in base 10 and then convert balik to base 9. Can also, but it's very slow, right? So there is a faster way because everything is in base 9 and also the PR they want in base 9. So what you can do is just do it the vertical method. You remember what's the vertical method? 120 base 9 minus 34 base 9 like that. Okay. So what you have to do, you minus it like yourself like that. So base 9 minus base 9, you get base 9 also. 0 minus 4 tak cukup. You have to pinjam from the 2. And when you pinjam from the 2 become 1. But you pinjam 9 there. Because this is a base 9 number. So every time you pinjam 9. If it's base 10, then you pinjam 10. Right? So the 2 become 1, but the 0 have to plus 9 lah. So become 9. And then 9 minus 4 gives you 5. 1 minus 3, that's not possible. So you have to pinjam from the 1 here. So the 1 here becomes 0. And remember how many you pinjam there? 9. So what is this? 1, right? So 1 plus 9 gives you 10. And then 10 minus 3 gives you 7. So this is the answer. Now, take the 75 base 9 minus with the 52 base 9 to get the side PR. So base 9 minus base 9 also. 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 5 is 2. So the answer is C. Okay. Okay, another way to do this is you take this one plus this one first. You take this one plus this one using the vertical method also. Cannot use calculator. Using the vertical method, tambah dua-dua ni dulu and then take 120 minus with the answer. Same also lah. You get same also. Alright, that's all. Number 6, they want us to simplify this whole thing. Okay, usually simplify means what? You factorize what? Try to factorize. If you can factorize, you factorize. If you can cut, you cut. Yeah, that's what it means lah. Okay, 4x squared. I don't think you can do anything to this. Yeah, you can't factorize anything, and yeah, it's just a single term. Yeah, I don't think you can do anything. Y minus 1. Yeah, you also cannot do anything with this. The 24xy also. Yeah, nothing you can do about that. But the y square minus 1, you can do something here. You can use the differences in square formula. When you have a square minus b square, you can factorize it. Becomes a minus b, a plus b. Okay, but make sure it has to be minus and it needs to have square for both the term here. Okay, it has to be minus. But sir, this one, the 1 tak ada square. Okay, 1, you can write it as 1 square also. Because 1 times 1 is 1. So 1, you can just put a square like that. And the reason you can put it like this is because 1 square will give you 1 also. So what's the reason, what's the purpose of me putting the square there is because I want to use this. I want to apply this. The differences in square. When you have differences in square, you can open 2 bracket, a minus b, a plus b. But of course, don't write a minus b, a plus b lah, because your ab is y and negative 1. So y minus 1, y plus 1. Okay, now that you already factorize this, now we can take this whole fraction, multiply with this. So when you multiply two fraction, you will take atas darab atas, bawah darab bawah. So the atas will stay atas, the bawah will stay bawah. And also kalau atas bawah boleh sama, boleh potong. Okay, yeah, because everything now is times, right? So it's like 4x squared times y minus 1 times y plus 1 over y minus 1 over 24xy. So it's like something times something times something over something. So can cut. Yeah, when everything is times, can cut. So the y minus 1 same can cut. So you left with what? 4x squared times y plus 1 over 24xy. But we can still cut also. Can still cut also. So you can see the number and the number 4 and 24 can cut also. If you press this in your calculator, you get 1 over 6. Okay, 1 over 6. But usually the 1, we don't write it. And then x squared times y plus 1 over xy. Okay, the y cannot cut. No, no, no. Because the y is the whole bracket y plus 1. Unless here is plus 1 like that lah, then can cut. Then cut the y plus 1. But this one cannot. But the x can cut. Because it's like x squared times y plus 1 over xy. It's like something times something over something, so can cut. So x squared divide x will be left with x lah. Because same base divide the power have to minus. So x power 2 divide x power 1 is just left with x power 1 atas. So the answer comes out already. It will be 1x, which is x bracket y plus 1 over 6y. So now we look for the answer A, B, C, D. Which one? A, right? B cannot. C and D cannot lah. Why got x square here? Okay, so that's how I would do it. Hope you understand. Okay, number 7. I see active income. I know already it's from 4 chapter 10. The consumer mathematics chapter. What is it called? Financial management, right? Pengurusan kewangan. Alright, table 1 shows the summary of Puan Zaiton's financial plan. So she has active income. So income is something you plus. Passive income also something you plus. Fixed monthly saving, this one you have to minus. Yeah, because 200 ringgit go to savings. So the amount left you can spend is kena kurang dia lah. Okay, fixed expenses also something you minus. Variable expenses is also something that you minus. Okay, so far I understand. Now let's read but down here. One Zaiton wants to buy a new sofa for her home. So this is her goal. She want to buy sofa. She plans to save 7,200 in 1 year. Oh, in 1 year, this is the amount she need to save. Calculate the maximum amount of fixed expenses for one Zaiton if she wants to achieve the goal. Okay, I think this maximum will make a lot of students confused, right? But it's okay. Let's not care about the maximum first. Let's just find the amount of expenses. So I want to find this, right? I'm trying to find this. So how do we find it? First of all, let's count out. Let's count how many she can save in a month. Okay, savings in 1 month. Okay, and you can find it easily because the savings in 1 month will be 7,200 because that's the amount of savings she need for 1 year, right? Divide by 12, right? So the savings she need in 1 month will be 600 lah. Yeah, this is what she need to save in 1 month. And also this financial plan is for 1 month. Yeah, financial plan is always for 1 month. Okay, so what you can do is you find out how much she can save after deducting all the expenses. So what I will press now, I'll press 3400 plus with 700 minus 200 minus 1000. So let's press now. 3400 plus 700 minus 200 minus 1000. Okay, my calculator give me 2900. But of course, this 2900 is haven't minus with the fixed expenses. So I have to minus with X first. Yeah, I have to minus with X first. Okay, then only I will get 600. Okay, understand? So you take this one plus this one minus this one minus this one, but I still have to minus the fixed expenses to get the amount she can save, right? But if I want to buy the sofa, I need to make sure I save 600 1 month. That's why I have to take 2900 minus X equals to 600, and I can find my X, then I would know how much the fixed expenses here. Okay, alright, to find X, I'll make it positive, pindah sini, and then 600 pindah jadi minus. 2900 minus 600 is 2300. That means if the fixed expenses is 2300, I will be able to save 600 1 month, and I will be able to save 7,200 in 1 year. Okay, so let's scroll down and look for the answer 2300. So actually you can see the answer is C lah, because You saw the answer, right? But I want to explain a bit about the maximum thing. So let me tell you what is maximum. Maximum means the highest limit. The highest limit. So they want to find maximum fixed expenses means the highest limit of fixed expenses. Now imagine the answer is 2900. Just imagine, imagine for a second that the fixed expenses is 2900. So answer me, if the fixed expenses is higher, which is 2900, will she be able to save 600 in 1 month? The answer is no, right? Because if this is 2900, what's gonna happen is your savings will be 2900 minus 2900, which gives you zero. So you end up saving 0 ringgit per month, and you're not gonna achieve the goal in 1 year if you save zero per month. So D is confirmed wrong. Understand? Now tell me, what if the fixed expenses is lower, is smaller than the 2300? What happens to your savings in 1 month? It will be more, right? You can save up more if you kurangkan you punya expenses. Ya lah, you kurangkan you punya expenses. So of course you will end up saving more, and that will help you get to your goal faster, right? But since the soalan asks for maximum, that's why we choose C as the answer. Actually, A and B, if you put X is 600, 800 here, you will actually get more savings. Yeah, you actually get more. You can actually save more in 1 month. Okay, and you can also achieve the goal in 1 year. But since they ask for maximum, so we'll choose the maximum answer, which is C. That's what it means by maximum, right? Okay, hopefully you get it lah. All right, that's all. Okay, number 8. This one is insurance. So from 5, chapter 3. Okay. Okay, so table 2 shows the type of insurance and what they cover. So life insurance, the coverage covers loss or damage motor vehicle lah. Bro. No, no, no. Motor vehicle is only for motor insurance. Life insurance don't cover that. So this is wrong, really. Fire insurance provides coverage against damage caused by fire, lightning, and explosion. Okay, this is correct. Because fire insurance, you buy fire insurance usually for your house. Yeah, for your house or for a building. Yeah, for building, for property, for your own property. Yeah. Because when you own the property, when you own a building, usually it comes with the risk of, you know, fire or yeah, some natural disaster lah. Okay. So these are all the coverage that covered by the fire insurance. Okay. Okay. Personal accident insurance covers policyholder against an accident that causes injury or even death. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah, this is correct. And then medical and health insurance protect policyholder from certain risks when traveling. No, this is wrong. Traveling is only travel insurance. Yeah. And I remember asking my own students to memorize the coverage. I mean the keyword lah. I only ask them to memorize the keyword. Okay. So traveling is only travel insurance. Yeah. During anything that happens during travel, is only the travel insurance will cover that. Okay. So the answer is 2 and 3 lah. But what the question wants? Which of the following is the correct match? So it's 2 and 3 lah. So yeah, the answer is B, boy. Okay, I'm gonna continue with number 9. Diagram 2 shows a right angle triangle. Right angle triangle is segi tiga sudut tegak. It means it's a triangle with a 90 degrees. And you can see it's very obvious the 90 degree is at Q. Yeah. And then given the length of PR is 15 cm. So PR is here is 15 cm. Immediately, I start thinking about Pythagoras theorem already. Yeah. That's just because right angle triangle, when they give you the side like that, usually it's Pythagoras theorem 1. Okay, but let's read the question also. Let's double check. Which of the following quadratic equation represent the relationship between the sides of triangle PQR? So what formula you can use represent the relationship of the three sides of the right angle triangle? Pythagoras theorem lah. That's the only formula. Okay. Another formula that you can use for right angle triangle is the SOHCAHTOA. But that one is when they involve angle. Yeah. Involve when they give you angle or when it involves angle that is not 90 degree, these two, then you can use the SOHCAHTOA thing, right? But this one you definitely do Pythagoras theorem. Okay, the Pythagoras theorem says a square equals a square plus b square equals c square, where c is the longer side. Okay, so which one is the longer side? Always the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse means the side that is the part 90 degree. So it will be the 15 has to be here lah. And then the a square plus b square will be the x minus 1 square plus 2x minus 8 square, right? But I realized the ABCD all give in general form. So I have to expand all this, and then pindah everything to one side equals 0 lah. Okay, x minus 1 square. Alright, how to expand this? Alright, if I have a minus b square, the fast way to expand is you take the a square, and then the next thing is you take the a times negative b times 2, which is negative 2ab, and then negative b square is plus b square. This is how you do it. Okay, if you want to do it fast lah. Of course, you can do it slowly like that. Do it slowly means like that, and then a square, and then like that, negative ab, like that, negative ab, and then plus b square, and then a square, negative ab, and minus 2ab plus b square, which is same, right? Which is same. Okay, but usually I will do it like this. Okay, and for advanced student, yeah, most MS student they do it like this also. Okay, yeah, because MS student they need to, how to say, do fast. So usually we expand fast like this. Okay, but it's up to you lah. If you takut you want to do it like that, can also, you get the same. Okay, all right. So I will just do it fast. X minus 1 square. First thing you have to do the a square, but your a is x, so it'll be x square. And then minus 2ab means what? It means you have to take x times negative 1 times 2. So x times negative 1, x times 2, negative 2x. Okay. Last thing is the plus b square, which is take the negative 1 square, so you get plus 1. Okay, that's all. Now for the next one, 2x minus 8 square. Do the same thing also. 2x, when you square, you get 4x square. Next thing, you have to take 2x times negative 8 times 2. 2x times negative 8 gives you negative 16x, times 2 is negative 32x. Last step, take the negative 8 square is plus 64. And then equals 15 square, you can press calculator, get 225. Okay. Okay, now you can see got square, right? It means you have to susun everything on one side equals 0, and you have to arrange it in the general form. Okay, one more thing I want to mention. This one, you don't have to open bracket here, because before the bracket is plus. So no need to worry lah. But if this is minus, then you have to be careful with the bracket. Because if this is minus, that means you have to put bracket, and also you have to change sign for everyone inside the bracket here. Kalau dia minus lah. Okay, but this one is plus, so we can just remove the bracket. X squared plus 4x squared, okay, 5x squared in general form. So next thing I have to write the x. So negative 2x, okay, this one also have x. So negative 2 minus 32 is negative 34x, right? So x squared dengan x squared boleh buat, x dengan x boleh buat, and then number dengan number boleh buat. So 1 plus 64 is 65, and you should move the 225 over because you want it to be equal to 0. So you just press 65 minus 225, and that will give you the C. Okay, my calculator give me negative 160. So that is your answer. All right, I don't think you can simplify this further, because 534, 160 cannot divide with any number, right? Yeah, so let's look for the answer now. Yeah, D donkey is the answer. All right, that's all. Okay, number 10, diagram. Which of the following the value is 1, 6? And then they give you all this. All right, I feel like this one you just solve for all this and see which one gives you 16. Okay, so when you have same base, two number with same base, and you want to times them together, the power you need to plus. So what is 2 power 0 plus 8 is 2 power 8. And if you press this in your calculator, 2 power 8, you get 64. Okay, next one, 2 power 0 times 2 power 4, that's going to be 2 power 0 plus 4. Because same base times the power need to plus. And then 2 power 4 is 16. So B is the answer. Okay, yeah, because they want 16, right? Okay, let's do the C and D also. 2 power 5 divided 2 power 2 will be 2 power 3. Because same base divide, so the power minus. So you can 8. 2 power 3 is 8. Next one, same base also, and then divide, so the power minus. So 3 minus 1 gives you 2, and 2 power 2 is 4. So as you can see, there's only 116 here. So that one is the answer. That's all. 11, diagram 3 shows two statements. Okay, this is definitely from 4 chapter 3. The logical reasoning chapter in BM is called penakkulan logic. Okay, it says here P7 is a prime factor of 42. Q7 is a multiple of 42. Okay, this is true. Yeah, 7 is multiple. Okay, let's see what they want. Which of the following represents the correct truth values of statement P, statement Q, and compound statement P or Q? Compound statement means you combine two statements using the word and ataupun or. But they already said they want to use the word or here. Okay, if I scroll down, you can see they give you a table here. So we have to bulat yang mana betul lah. Okay, I already know Q is memang true. 7 is a multiple of 42. Yeah. No lah, this is false. Sorry. 7 is a factor of 42, but it's not a multiple, right? Yeah, so Q is false. Okay, so it's either this and this lah. Okay, I think I have to determine the truth value separately first. After determine separately, then only I determine for the compound statement P or Q. Okay. Okay, so let's determine the true value for this single statement. 7 is a prime factor of 42. What is prime factor? Okay, let's talk about what's factor first. Factor means, okay, factor of 42 means you write down 42 and you think about what number times what number gives you 42. So 1 times 42, 2 times 21, 3 times 14. Yeah, and then 4 cannot, 5 cannot, 6 times 7, and that's all. Because the next one is 7 times 6, so repeat it. So this all the factor 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 14. So these are all factor of 42. Then what is prime factor? Prime factor means factor but prime number. Prime number. So which one of these is prime number? 2 is prime number, 3 is prime number, 1 is not prime number. 6 is not prime, 7. Yeah, that's all. 2, 3, and 7. 21, no. 21 is not prime number because can divide 3, right? Yeah. So 2, 3, and 7 is the prime factor of 42. So this is true lah, because 7 is, yeah, is a factor that is prime number of 42. Okay. So that's how you do it. Okay. Okay. Now for the next one, 7 is a multiple of 42. This is false because the multiple of 42 is 42 times 1, which is 42, and then 42 times 2, 84, and then 42 times 3, 42 times 4, yeah, and so on. So 7 will not be here. So this is false. So now that we know the P is true, Q is false, now we can find out the P or Q. So for P or Q means what? It will be true lah. Because if you combine using the word or, that means if one of it is true, then the whole thing is true already. Okay? So you need to know if I combine two statements using the word or, it will be true when one of it is true. Yeah, because or means like okay lah, satu true then the whole thing true already. But if it's a and, if this one is I use the word and, it has to be both true then baru boleh jadi true. If satu false then the whole thing false already. Kalau and lah, kalau and. Okay, tapi kalau or one of it is true then the whole thing is true already. So now I can bullet the answer already. So P is true, Q is false. P is true, Q is false, and then P or Q is true. So C is the answer. Okay. Alright, that's all. Okay, let's do number 12. Diagram 4 shows a statement. Okay, this is also from 4 chapter 3. Logical reasoning. Okay, penakalan logic. So they write here x power 3 is bigger than x, comma, x is a element of a set of real numbers. Okay, this R stands for real numbers. Okay, but what is real numbers? Okay, later I explain. Later I explain. Okay, let's read what it says here first. Which of the following is the counter example of the statement in diagram 4? Okay, what is counter example? Dalam bahasa Melayu is penyangkal. But what is that? What's the meaning? Okay, counter example means the example that contradicts this statement. So let me explain one more time. Counter example is what? The example that contradicts this statement. Okay, let me explain in BM. It means you have to ambil satu example sini yang membuatkan ini jadi salah. Yang akan yang boleh prove benda ni salah. Okay, so again, what is counter example? An example that will prove that this thing is false. Ya, satu example yang akan membuatkan yang you boleh guna untuk buktikan statement ni salah. That's what it means by counter example. Okay, but before I get the answer, first I need to explain what's real number first, right? Okay, real numbers is numbers that you can plot in a number line, or you can say numbers that can be plotted in number line. Okay, so that includes all the rational number and all the irrational number. Okay, what's rational number? Rational number means number that can convert to fraction. Okay, or it's an integer. Numbers that are integers or numbers that can convert to fraction, those are rational numbers. Then what is irrational number? Irrational number means numbers that cannot convert to fraction, like square root 2 or square root 5. Yeah, those are irrational number. Okay, pi is also irrational. Pi is also irrational. So all those numbers, they are all real numbers because you can write it in the number line. Like square root 2, you can write it uh, even like non-recurring decimal, like 0.459459,459. Yeah, these are all real numbers because you can plot it in the number line. So it's a real numbers. And then what else? Like -5. Yeah, these are all real numbers. So one more time, what's real numbers? Numbers that can be plotted in number line, and that includes what? All the rational number and all the irrational number. Okay, those are all real numbers. Now, what about numbers that are not real? Name me one number that is not real. Okay, the opposite word for real is imaginary. Okay, yeah, real, the opposite word is imaginary numbers. So, what is the example for imaginary numbers? Square root negative 1. Because square root negative 1, you will get math error. Okay, and actually we use I to represent that, the square root negative 1. Actually, square root any negative number is like all imaginary, like square root negative 5. Yeah, because when you press calculator, square root negative, yeah, they give math error. Okay, they'll give, because it's not possible to square root a negative number. Okay, but when you learn it in the upper level, they will use I to represent the square root negative number lah. Okay, but you don't have to know too much about this. For now, just make sure you know real numbers is numbers that can be plotted in number line, and the imaginary numbers is numbers that cannot plot lah in number line because it's not real. Yeah, it's not real. It's like it's a complex number. Yeah, and you can't plot it in number line because these kind of numbers do not exist. They are imaginary. Okay. Yeah, they're imaginary. That's why we use I to represent the imaginary. Okay, and when you get imaginary number is when you square root negative number. Okay, so tell me now, this value 0.22, 2.23, all these numbers are real numbers or imaginary numbers? Everything here is real numbers. Yeah, all of it is real numbers, right? Okay, so now that you understand what's real and what's not real, now we can answer this question already. So they want the counter example for the statement in diagram 4, and I told you already, right? What's counter example? Counter example means satu example yang boleh buktikan benda ni salah. You have to write down one example that can prove that this whole thing is false. This whole thing is not true. So how do you do it? Well, you just sub the 0.2 and see whether it's true or false lah. So 0.2 power 3 bigger than x, right? So yeah, the x will be 0.2. So you press calculator. What is 0.2 power 3? You get 0.008. Okay, 008. Right? And then the x will be 0.2 lah. Understand, right? It means you put the 0.2 power 3 and then you write here and then put the 0.2 on the right side and then right here. Okay, let's do one more time. X equals to 2. So the 2 power 3 will be 8. And then it says bigger than x, so bigger than 2. Okay, next one, x power 3 bigger than x, so it'll be 2.2 power 3 bigger than 2.2. And then 2.2 power 3, you can press, you get 10.648. Okay, last one, 3 power 3 bigger than 3, so it's 27 bigger than 3. And x is element of real number, and I told you already, all these x are the element of real numbers. Okay, these are all real. Okay, so now we have to find out which one is the counter example. So which one is false? That one is the answer lah. Okay, 0.008 is bigger than 0.2. This is false, right? And 8 bigger than 2, this one is true. 10 point something bigger than 2 point something, this is true. 37 bigger than 3, this is also true. So A is the answer. Yeah, this one is the counter example. And what is counter example? The example that contradicts this statement. Satu example yang boleh prove benda ni salah. So A lah. A is the one that contradicts with this statement because 0.2 is a real number, but it doesn't, but the number power 3 is not bigger than x, right? Because I just did it here. Yeah, so that's how you find out the counter example. All right, hope you get it. Okay, I'm gonna continue 13. Okay, this definitely the set chapter from 4 chapter. 4, I think. Operation on set. Okay, diagram 5 shows a universal set, set P, set Q. Okay, which of the region ABCD represents P complement intersect Q? All right, you can see the complement is not outside the bracket. It's at the P there. So I think I have to do P complement first, and then do Q, and then take the intersection. Intersection means take the overlap. So as you can see, P is this, right? P is this region, including here also. This is also inside P, right? So what is P complement? It means you will take everything except the A and B region. So it'll be CD lah. So the P complement region will be C and D. Then what about the Q region? Okay, the Q region will be B and C. Okay, the B and C region. But now they want the intersection between the two. So you will take the overlap. So the overlap region means you choose the yang sama lah. So CC. So C is the overlap region. So that's the intersection answer. Okay, that's all. So that's it. Number 14, the Venn diagram in diagram 6 shows the favorite game of 6 Amana pupils. So you have badminton, you have football, you have rugby. Okay, let's talk about what the diagram means. So let's talk about this first. What's the meaning of this? This means student yang macam mana? Main badminton and football and rugby. This one. Okay. A. Do you know most students don't know this? If you ask them, for example, badminton and football and rugby, some of the students will say this one plus 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 one, which is wrong. Okay. You know why students think like that? Because they thought and. So they thought, oh, sir, badminton and football and rugby, that means everything lah. Because you say and ma, so everything. No, no. And means intersect. So if I say B intersect F intersect R is only talking about the middle. Okay? Yeah, intersection between the three. So it's not everything add together. If I say okay, if I say or, then only it means everything add together. If I say badminton and football and rugby is only talking about this. But if I say badminton or football or rugby, okay, then it's like every number here add together. That's what it means. Okay. Then what about the one? Okay, the one is badminton and rugby only. Yeah, you have to mention the word only. Okay. Yeah, because the one dia tak ada football. Dia badminton dengan rugby only. Okay, then the X will be football and rugby only. Okay, I'm not sure why they never give the number here. Maybe they will give me later. I don't know. But it's okay. Let's talk about what's the three. Okay, the three is badminton only lah. And then five is football only. Okay, I have to mention the word only. And then seven is rugby only. Because if you don't mention the only, then if you say rugby, it becomes 7 plus 1 plus 2x plus x already. That's why if you're talking about the 7, it's the rugby only. Okay, now let's go through down here. If the number of pupils who like playing 3 games is 20, okay, you don't think that, oh, also all this number add dapat 20. No. Playing 3 games means only the 2x. Only the 2x. So calculate the total pupils who like only 2 games. Alright, I think I need to find x first. Yeah, I need to find x first. Then only I can find the student who like only 2 games. Alright, so they give you information here. 20 is the student who like playing 3 games. So 2x equals 20. So you can find x 20 divided 2 is 10. That means this one is 10. And the 2 times x will be 2 times 10, which is 20. Right? So now we can find total people who like only 2 games. Only, bukan less than 2 game, more than 2 game. No. Only, exactly only 2 games. So exactly 2 games is orang mana? Here, here, and here. Because exactly 2 game, right? Why the 20 cannot? Because this 20 dia main 3 game. Okay. The 3 cannot because this one is badminton only, 1 game only. The 5 is also main 1 game only. 7 also rugby only, 1 game. So this and this is 2 game only. This one is badminton and football only. This one is badminton and rugby only. This one is football and rugby only. So the answer will be 1 plus 10 plus. Okay, I feel like this is 0 lah because they never give me. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's 0. So 1 plus 10 will be 11. Okay. So is there any answer? Yes, D is the answer. Okay. All right. So this is how to do it. That's all. Okay, 15 is a bit blur, but I'll try my best to read the question. Okay, given point G is located on the x-axis and 5 units to the left of y-axis, determine the coordinates of H, which is 4 units upwards from point G. Okay, I feel like it's better I just draw the Cartesian plane. Yeah, so let's just draw the Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane means the x-axis, y-axis lah. Okay, why so small? What happened? Let me. Okay, so this is how it looks like. The Cartesian plane, x-axis and y-axis. All right, so let's read one more time. G is located on the x-axis. So G is like somewhere on the x-axis. Somewhere here. But I don't know where. But they got mentioned something here. 5 units to the left of y-axis. Oh, this is the y-axis and it's 5 units to the left. So you have to, but since it's on the x-axis, so you have to count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is definitely negative 5 lah. So this is your point G, right? Okay. Hey, wait, why don't you count from here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then why don't you put your G here? They already say here it's located on the x-axis. It means it's on the line. It's on the x-axis line. That's why you come from here lah. And then 5 units to the left of y-axis. So this is the point G. Okay, determine coordinates of H, which is 4 units upward from G. So I have to go here and move up 4 units for the point H. So let's move up 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is your point H. And since you move up 4 unit, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So what is the coordinate of H? Okay, the x coordinate of point H would definitely be -5, and then the y coordinate would be 4 lah. So the answer is A lah. Yeah, this is quite easy. That's all. Okay, 16. Determine number of edges. Okay, this one is definitely from 4 chapter 5. The graph theory. Okay, number of edges of tree that has 15 vertices. Okay, tree memang dia sangat suka tanya dalam exam. So you have to memorize there's 4 characteristic. And if you are my own student, you know already. Yeah, I say this so many times, right? So tree, first you need to know tree is a subgraph. Okay, and what is subgraph? Subgraph means is the part of the graph or the whole graph redrawn. That's the meaning of subgraph. Okay, it means if if the soalan asks you to draw tree, and if they give you a master graph means like the original graph lah. If they give you the original master graph and you were asked to draw the tree, then you have to make sure your tree is the subgraph. It means it has to be part of the master graph or is the whole graph redrawn lah. But you have to consider the 4 characteristics. First one is it has to be a simple graph. It means no loops, no multiple edges. Next one, it has to be all vertices connected. It means there will be cannot have any isolated vertex. Yeah, cannot have isolated vertex. And then the third one is the number of edges has to be nv minus 1 always. Okay, and then the last one is no cycle. Okay, no cycle. So that is the characteristic of tree that you have to memorize. You have to remember all this. Okay, so they say determine number of edges means cari NE lah when the vertex is 15. So for this question, we will only focus on this, right? But I mentioned all the characteristic also because yeah, these are all important. So what you have to do now, just put inside this formula lah. So the NE nak cari, and then the NV 15. So 15 minus 1 is 14B lah is the answer. Okay. Okay, let me tell you how to remember this. Because usually students forget how to remember, right? Like student would say like, hey sir, if 15 vertex means the edges has to be 16 or 14. Because they confuse. They don't know whether it's like the edges yang kena lebih satu or the vertices yang kena lebih satu. Okay, I'll tell you now. So you remember 3 cannot have cycle, right? So imagine if you have 4 vertex and if you join like this, what's gonna happen? You will have the 4 vertex and you have how many edges? 4, which is not a 3, right? In order for it to be 3, what I have to do? Add another line. No. If you add another line, it's wrong also because there's cycle. Okay. So what you should do is you remove a line. That is why the line has to always be kurang satu. The line has to be always the vertex minus 1. You see? 4 vertex, 3 minus 1. So this one has to be is 3. Then this becomes a 3 already. Okay. So this is how I remember the NE equals NV minus 1. Okay. So make sure you know it's NE equals NV minus 1, not the other way. Not NV equals NE minus 1. No. So you can remember using the way I mentioned here. Okay. If you have 4 dots and 4 lines, what you should do is remove a line. Not remove a dot. Why you remove dot? Okay, it doesn't make sense. You remove the line lah. That's why the line has to always kurang satu. So if I'm finding the number of edges and they give you vertex, just kurang satu lah. 15 minus 1. Bukan tambah satu, kurang satu. Alright, I hope you get it. Let's do 17 pula. Diagram 7 shows a graph E. So this is not a simple graph. I will definitely tell you it's not a simple graph. Oh, and by the way, this is also same chapter like last question. From 4 chapter 5, the graph theory. Okay, why I say it's not a simple graph is because it has loops and it has multiple edges. When it has loops and multiple edges, it's not a simple graph. Okay, which of the following is correct set of edges for the graph E? So how many edges you have? 1. Okay, loop we only count it as 1 edge. But if we are counting degree, then we will kira 2 degree for loops. Okay, but since we are counting the edges now, so there's only 1 edge for the loop, and then 2 edge, 3 edge, 4 edge, 5 edge. So A is confirmed wrong already because there's only 4 here. So there should be 5, right? So let's go through B, C, D and see which one is the correct one lah. Okay, so the edge for the loop, we will write it as XX. XXX tentacion. Okay, no, just XX. Okay, so is there any XX here? Okay, why I see got 2 XX here? What the hell? There's only 1 loop, so there should only be 1 XX. So this is wrong already. Okay, XX I see here. Okay, that's good. And then the 2 edge here would be XY and XZ. Or you can also write YX, ZX because it's not a directed graph. Dia tak ada direction, so it's not one way. So you can write the order but however you want. XY also can, YX also can. So let's check for XY exact. So you can see XY exact. So this one is XY exact. Okay, good, 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 good. Hey, but why this one got another exact? This one wrong already lah. Wrong already. Okay, so the correct one is C. So after you write the XX, XY exact, and then you have multiple edges, so it'll be YZ two times. So you see YZ two times, and this one is the multiple edges. Okay, and this one is the loops. Okay, but this one wrong lah. This one because they go and write exact two times. If you write exact, it means there's multiple edges in the exact. But exact there's only one edge joining exact, but they write two lines joining exact. So yeah, the answer is C. Okay, that's all for this question. It's quite easy. Okay, let's do 18. Table 3 shows the ratio of sine theta and cos theta. Sine theta is 1/2, cos theta is 3/2, tangent theta is x. Calculate value of x. Alright, I'll tell you now the theta is 30. And tangent 30 will give you 1/3. But sir, how come you know the answer so fast? Well, because this is the table that I memorized already. And I asked my own student to memorize also. And if you're my student, you know what I will write now already. Yeah, I'm sure you know what I'm doing now. Yeah, you will know exactly what I'm doing now because you pernah salin this in my class. So this is the table, and this table will give you the sine answer, cos answer, and tangent answer for 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree. And I always tell my students, you need to memorize this because sometimes in the exam they will say, without using calculator, find out this lah. And you need this, right? Or maybe they give you the angle in quadrant 2, and then you convert to reference angle, and then if you get one of this angle, then use this table to do it lah. Okay, the way I teach my student to hafal is sine 30 and cos 60 sama, so 1/2, 1/2, and sine 60 and cos 30 same, and it will be cert 3/2. Here also cert 3/2, and then sine 45 and cos 45 sama, 1/2, 1/2. Okay, tangent 30 is 1/cert 3. Tangent 45 is 1, tangent 60 is cert 3. Okay, I want to mention one thing. Actually, you can use your calculator to get all these value. Yeah, but if you tekan sine 45, your calculator will give you different a bit. They will give you cert 2/2 because they already rationalize this. Yeah, they already simplify this. But it's the same thing lah. So actually use your calculator also can, but memorize it. Yeah, you should memorize it. Okay, because if you okay, it's fine if you don't memorize for sine 63. Yeah lah, that one no need to memorize, right? But for 30, 45, 60, I will always tell my student to memorize it. Okay, and also for 0, 90, 180, 273, 60, also the sin cos tan answer also I ask my student to memorize. Okay, so now you understand why I get the answer so fast, right? Because this one is already in my head, I memorize it already. So sine is 1/2, immediately I think about this already. So that's why I know it's 30. Cos theta is 3/2. No, I should tengok macam ni, right? Yeah, cos 30 because theta is 30, and then tangent theta is 1/3. So that's how I get the answer so fast. Okay, so nothing much to teach lah. This one, just make sure you remember the table, then you can do. Okay, all right, that's all. Okay, number 19, -506 times. Okay, I don't like this. Okay, this fraction they write in the mixed number form. And usually we don't like it when it's mixed number. We want it to be improper fraction. So let's convert that. -506 times with. Okay, how to convert mixed number to improper fraction? Let's say you have A, B, or C. You have to take C times A plus B. C times A plus B over C. That's how you convert. So now let's take 7 times 1 plus 5. That gives us 12 over 7. Okay. dy, oh my god, another mixed number. I don't like it. So let's convert to improper fraction. 4 times 2 plus 1, which is 9 over 4. Okay. Okay, of course I can use calculator, but I want to try it without calculator. Okay. I want to do it myself first. If I cannot, baru I guna calculator. So this one I can simplify. So when you take fraction, darab fraction, the way to do it is atas darab atas, bawah darab bawah. So it'll be 5 times 12, 6 times 7, right? But when you take atas darab bawah, you can potong. Atas bawah boleh potong. So you can see the 6 and 12 can potong. And 6 divided 6 is 1, 12 divided 6 is 2. And now you can take atas darab atas, 5 times 2 is 10, and then 1 times 7 is 7. Like that. So I already finished for this part. Okay, divide with -9/4, you can tukar jadi times -4/9. Yeah, you learned this before, right? In form 1, form 2, like when you divide jadi times, this one can terbalik. Okay, negative number times negative number will give you positive number, And then 10 over 7 times 4 over 9, atas darab atas will be 40. 7 times 9 is 63, right? So this is your final answer. Yeah, you cannot simplify already. But the answer want you to write in 3 decimal place. That's why all the answer in decimal. So let's tekan this and write it in decimal format. So just press 40 divided 63 and change to decimal. Okay, but they want 3 decimal place. 3 decimal place means it means they want 3 digit after the decimal point. So it'll be 0.6349. But write 635 lah. Yeah, because 6349 means the 4 have plus 1 because the 9 is already more than 5, right? Yeah, so 3 decimal place, so that's the answer. So as you can see, the answer is B, boy. Okay, number 20. Which of the following points satisfy the inequalities 3x minus 4y bigger than 12? Okay, you see this word inequality. So from 4 chapter 6, linear inequality in two variables. Okay, ketaksamaan. Alright, how to know which points satisfy this? Okay, satisfy, what's the meaning of satisfy? Satisfy means in shaded region. That's what it means. Okay. Yeah. Satisfy means the point is in the shaded region. Okay. In the shaded region. Okay. So 3x minus 4y bigger 12. Okay. First of all, how to know where's the shaded region? Okay. If I draw this line out, it will be, okay, let me think. 3x when you pindah jadi negative 3, negative positive. So the gradient is positive. So the line should be something like this going up. And since the y is negative on this side, so the symbol bigger will become smaller. So the shaded region will be below this line. So later you have to find out which of this point is below this line. Okay, is bawah this line. Why bawah? Because the symbol is bigger, but when you change it to linear form, 3x minus 4y bigger than 12, and let's say I want to change it to linear form. Linear form means like y equal mx plus c lah. So you want the y to be single, right? So you move the 3x become negative 3x plus 12, and then you move the negative. And when you move the negative, pindah negative, you have to change sign for both these numbers. Kena tukar tanda jadi 3x minus 12. It means you divide by negative 1 lah. And when you divide by negative, the bigger have to switch. Jadi smaller like that. So now it becomes y smaller than 3 over 4x minus 12 divided 4 is 3. So this is the inequality in linear form. Y equal mx plus c. That's why the gradient I know is positive. That's why I draw the line like this. Then why the shaded region I do down here? Yeah lah, because it's smaller ma. You have to make sure the y is positive. Yeah, the y has to be positive here. Then only you can shade the region. Okay, I know here is bigger, but this one cannot because the y is negative. Okay, yeah, so you have to make sure the y is positive on the left side, then only you can look at the symbol. Okay, that's why when you pin down the negative, the bigger change to smaller. That's why you have to shade down. Okay, all right, there's two method. There's two method to check whether this points is in the shaded region or not. There's two method. First method is use a graph paper, which is how you do in paper 2, right? Remember in paper 2, when they ask you to do this, you will draw in your graph paper and then you draw 3 lines and then you shade the region. And then after shading region, sometimes they will say like, check whether this point satisfy or not. And then you find out where is the point. If the point is here, outside shaded region, then we say does not satisfy. If it's here, then maybe satisfy. What if it's on the line? Okay, if it's a solid line, then yeah lah. If it's a dash line, then no, right? Yeah, that's how you do it in paper 2, right? But I'm not going to do it like that for this question because this is not paper 2, this is paper 1. Okay? And also takkanlah you nak buat graph. Okay? Takkanlah you want to do graph for this, right? So we don't do it like that, huh? So what's the other method? Okay, the other method is you just take this point and sub inside. Yeah, just sub inside. Okay? So what I will do is I will draw a table, and then the left hand side 3x minus 4y I write here, and then the right hand side is 12, right? And remember, you want the left hand side to be bigger than the right hand side. So what you do is you try to sub this and see which one gives you the left hand side bigger than right hand side, and that would be the answer. Okay, the one that after you sub, if you get left hand side bigger than right hand side, that's the answer. Okay, so let's try to sub this. X is negative 2, y is 5, so 3x minus 4y, and then this one is 12. Okay, so now let's go. Okay, so this x is negative 2, this one is 5. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 minus 20 is negative 36. Wait, is it correct? Wait, okay, negative 26. Sorry. Okay, negative 26. And you compare that with 12. So you can see the negative 26 is smaller than 12. That means the left hand side is smaller than right hand side. So when you sub into this, you end up getting 3x minus 4y smaller than 12. So it means this is not the answer. because they want the 3x minus 4y to be bigger than 12. So what you do, you take your eraser, you erase this, you erase this, you erase this. Now you try with b. So b is 0, 8. So the x is 0, the y is 8. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 4 times 8 is negative 32. And as you can see, the negative 32 is lesser, is smaller than 12. That means the left hand side is smaller than right hand side when you sub 0, 8 inside. So this is also wrong because it doesn't match with this. This one is bigger. Okay, now take your eraser again and then repeat the same step. This time with 2 negative 1. So 3 bracket minus 4 bracket. X is 2, y is negative 1. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 is lesser than 12. That means when you sub this point inside, you end up getting 3x minus 4y lesser than 12. So also wrong. So D is the answer already lah. Okay, but let's try it also. Yeah. So let's do it also just to make sure you understand. So 6 is x, y is negative 9. So if you press 3 times 6 is 18. 18 plus 36, 54. You can use your calculator to help you. Okay, 54 you compare to 12 is bigger lah. So it means when you sub this point inside, you end up getting the 3x minus 4y bigger than 12. That means this point satisfy this inequality. It means if you plot this point, it will be exactly in the shaded region. Yeah, it will be exactly in the kawasan below it. Yeah, because bigger, because when you have bigger, smaller means there will be a region, there will be a kawasan lore, and all these points, all these 3 points will not be in the shaded region because when I sub, it doesn't get the left hand side is not bigger than the right hand side. Only D is only when you sub the point at D, then only you get left hand side bigger than right hand side. That's why D is the only point that satisfy, is the only point that is in the shaded region. All right, this is how I will do it. Hope you understand. Okay, let's do 21. What chapter is this? Blah, 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 number, probability. Okay, from 4 chapter 9 lah, this one. Probability of combined events. Okay, table 4 shows the number of workers in factory M and N. So factory M, factory N, who use car as their mode of transmission to their working place. Okay, this one nothing much. So these are all number of male, female that go to work using car. All right, it is given that the probability of male who use car as their mode is 205. Okay, probability of male, right? But they never say factory M or factory N. It means total lah, total for all lah. Okay, so what's the probability formula? PA equals to NA over NS. And the NS is the total lah. So imagine I'm trying to find probability of male is 205. So the 205 come from where? Atas sini saya kena tulis NA, which is the number of male in this case. And I told you already that you have to total up the 7 plus 9. Because they never said factory M or N, right? They just say probability of male who use car. So it'll be 7 plus 9 lah. And then the total will be 7 plus 9 plus X plus Y. Like that. Okay. Okay, what's next? Number of female workers in factory M who use car is 1/3 the number of female workers who use car in factory N. Find the number of female workers in factory M. Oh, they ask like that. Okay, let's read one more time. Number of female workers in M. So this is M. Female worker is X. So number of female worker in M, this is X. And it say is 1/3. 1/3 means 1/3. The number of female workers who use in factory N. So in factory N, the female is Y. So it means the X is equals to 1/3 times Y. So this X is equivalent to 1/3Y. Yeah, that's what it says here. Number of female workers in M, which is X, is 1/3 the number of female workers is N, which is Y. So X is 1/3Y. And then find the number of female workers in factory M. Means they want to find X lah. Number of female workers in factory M is X. So I need to find X. Okay. All right. How do you do this? Let's see. Okay, there's a few ways to do it. Yeah. So okay, this one we can simplify first. 7 plus 9 is 16. And then here will be 16 plus X plus Y equals to 205, right? Okay, one way to do it is you sub the 1/3Y straight away inside the X here. Because we already know X is 1/3Y, right? Yeah, X is equivalent to 1/3Y. So you can just erase this X, replace this is 1/3Y, and then cross multiply and then cari Y. Can also, but if you do it like that, after you find Y, you have to take your Y answer, divide by 3, get the X. Because that's what the question wants, X. Okay, that's the slow way to do it. But if you know how to plan ahead, you can be smart about this because they want to find X, right? So instead of making X single here, I'll make the Y single here. So the 3 I'll pindah here jadi times 3, so 3x. So like this is better. Because if you do it like this, it becomes 16 over 16 plus x plus y, and then for the y I sub 3x equals 205. If you do it like this, it's better, because if you do it like this straight away, you get x already. Okay. Yeah, so I'll do it like this lah. So 16 over 16 plus 3x plus 1x is 4x equals to 205. And you're trying to find x, but your x duduk bawah now. And you, when it's x duduk bawah and it's like single fraction on both sides, so you can cross multiply. Okay. When you have something or something equals something or something, darab silang. Okay, especially when the thing you want to find duduk bawah. Yeah, that's the perfect chance to do cross multiply. 5 times 16 is 80, 2 times 16 is 32, 2 times 4 is 8x. I'm trying to find x, so dia sudah positif, so kita jangan kacau dia, pindah 32 instead. 80 minus 32 is 48, divide by 8 is 6, so the answer is A. The answer asks for 6, right? X is 6, right? Okay, what about y value? The y value will be 3 times x, right? Which is 18, right? 3 times 6 is 18. But you cannot bulat C. You cannot bulat C because they're asking for number female workers in factory M. Factory M is x. In other words, the 1 over 3y. That is why you have to take 18 divided by 3, which is 6. Okay? It means the x value lah. Okay? Alright, so I hope you understand. So that's how I would do it. Alright, that's all. Okay, 22. Express y square over y square minus x square minus y over y minus x as a single fraction in simplest form. So I think what you need to do now is just factorize completely. If you nampak boleh factorize, just factorize. And then if you nampak boleh potong, just potong. Yeah, that's the meaning of simplest form. Right? It means you're trying to simplify it. All right, first thing first, y square, I don't think you can do anything with that. Y also, you cannot do anything. You cannot simplify. You cannot factorize. No, nothing. Y minus x also, you cannot do anything with that. But the y square minus x square, this one you can factorize, because you can use the differences in square formula. When you have a square minus b square, you can write it as a minus b, a plus b. Okay, yeah, this one very important. So when you have y square minus x square, you can write it as y minus x, y plus x lah. Just make sure when you do this, make sure it's minus here, and make sure they both have square. Both the two terms have square, right? So as you can see, this one, middle minus, and then both terms also have square. So you can write it as y minus x, y plus x, like that. Alright, what's next? Still cannot potong. Still cannot potong. But now you can try to make it into a single fraction. So you have two separate fraction and you can make it into single fraction. But the condition to make them into single fraction is to make sure the denominator has to be same. The bawah kena sama. So dia punya bawah sini y minus x, y plus x. Tapi dia punya bawah sini y minus x sahaja. So you have to multiply with y plus x so that the denominator for both fraction is same. Then you can write it as one whole single fraction. Okay. So when you multiply with y plus x, it will be like this lah. Right? So what do we write atas? Y square. Okay, what is this? The negative, you have to write it up here. So it becomes negative y. So negative y times y will be negative y square. And don't forget the negative go with the y. So negative y times x, it will be negative xy. Like that. Okay. And then the whole denominator is just y minus x, y plus x, because both denominators same already. So we just write it sekali lah, because we already combine into one fraction. Okay, y square minus y square can cut. Y square minus y square is 0. So you're left with negative xy. And if you look at the answer, you already know already. C confirm wrong, B confirm wrong, because y got square here, right? And then bawah is y minus x, y plus x. And I told you y minus x, y plus x is actually y square minus x square. Okay? Yeah, the reason I changed it back to like that is because the ABCD answer, if you look at the bawah, they all write it like this. Differences in square, right? So y, just now the y square minus x square, I changed to y minus x, y plus x. That means the y minus x, y plus x, I can change it back also lah. Yeah, it's like interchangeable. You can change it here, you can change it here. So the reason I change it here is because I want the ABCD answer is like that. So I just change accordingly to the answer. Okay, which one is the answer? A or D? Oh my God, sir, no answer lah. All right, I'll tell you now. If no answer, yeah, no answer, right? Because this one is like x, y, but there's a negative here, right? Okay, if you no answer, what you can do? Okay, I want you to know something. This negative, so you have negative A or B, you can actually write it like this, or you can write it like this also can. It means the negative, you nak tulis atas pun boleh, bawah pun boleh, middle pun boleh. You jangan tulis atas bawah. This one is wrong. If you write like this, confirm wrong. Because if you write atas bawah for both, then it will become negative, negative become positive. So this is wrong. So the negative is up to you. You can write atas boleh, bawah boleh, right? So the negative now I write in the middle, and and there's no answer, right? If I write atas also, there will be no answer, because if you look at here, there's no negative xy. So I think the only way is to put it down. Because I told you already, the negative nak letak atas pun boleh, bawah pun boleh, suka hati. So why not I try letak bawah? So when I letak bawah, it becomes what? It becomes like this, negative bracket. The bracket very important. Bracket very, very important. So now becomes what? Negative y square. And then the negative x square, when you open the bracket, it become plus x square. But the plus x square, is it okay if I don't want to write here? I want to write at the left side, can also write. Same thing, ma. I write here, depan belakang, sukati lah. Now have answer already lah. So A is wrong lah. Because this one is y square minus x square. It should be x square minus y square. So D is the answer. Okay. Yeah, just remember this one thing. If you sudah buat semua, tak ada jawapan, then try to take out the negative from atas and then times with bawah. Or maybe take out the negative from bawah, darab atas. Okay? Yeah. If it's a fraction answer lah, you can do like that. Okay? Because the negative, you darab atas or darab bawah is the same. But don't darab both lah. Okay? Alright, hope you understand. I'll continue. Okay, 23. What chapter? Underwent surgery. This one medical insurance. Okay. Okay, I will give you the notes for medical insurance now. So I'm gonna open a file. Alright, so let's talk about medical insurance. Okay, what you have to know for medical insurance. Oh my god, why so thick? Okay, so medical insurance. So the steps that you have to memorize, you have to remember. So they will ask, sometimes they will ask the cost yang company gonna bayar, and then sometimes they will ask for the policy holder. Okay, the cost borne by policy holder. Okay, if they ask the cost yang kena tanggung oleh company, what you do? Okay, step number one, you take the medical cost, or you can say medical bill minus deductible. Okay, minus deductible. For the policy holder is same also. Medical cost minus with the deductible. Okay. Next step, take the answer from step 1, darab dengan the big percent. But for policy holder, the step 2 will be darab with the small percent. It means you take the medical cost minus deductible, take the answer, darab with the small percentage. Yeah, lah, because policy holder is always responsible for the smaller percentage. Company will be responsible for the big percentage. Okay, for step 3, okay, actually there's no step 3. Yeah, for company there's no step 3. But for policy holder there's step 3. After you darab with the small percent, take the answer plus with deductible. Yeah, because deductible is the amount that you pay yourself. You have to pay yourself. Okay. All right, so that's the whole, yeah, that's the whole gist of it. Everything you need to know for medical insurance is here, right? If you know this, you can jawab all the medical insurance question. Doesn't matter how they ask, doesn't matter what paper, what question, what book. Yeah, doesn't matter. If you know all this, you can jawab all the medical insurance questions. So I will do this now. Encik Abdullah underwent a surgery and total medical cost which is protected is X. So they actually never give you the medical cost. Yeah, the medical cost is X. Okay. So but I know the X later have to minus with deductible. Confirm. Doesn't matter nak cari yang company tanggung or policy holder tanggung is always minus deductible. Okay, the insurance policy bought by Encik Abdullah comes with a deductible of 400. And then the 80-20 co-insurance percentage. So 80 is the big percent. So that's the company yang responsible punya. 20 is the policy holder. In this case is the Abdullah. Abdullah tanggung punya lah. And then percentage participation clause in his policy, calculate value of X if the medical cost borne by Abdullah is 16440. Okay, the 16440 is already the answer for medical cost borne by Abdullah. So which formula you think you will use? Borne by Abdullah. So you use the company punya or policyholder. This one lah, of course this one, right? And you have to do step 1, step 2, step 3 lah. But when you do step 1, you will not have the medical costs. Okay, but you have the deductible, you have the percentage, you have the deductible, right? But you don't have the medical costs. But they give you the final answer already because the medical cost borne by Abdullah is 16440. So what you can do? First, let's take the step 1, medical cost, which is X minus deductible 400. But I cannot do this myself. It's because I don't know the value of X, but it's okay. I know the next step is multiply this with the small percentage, which is 20%. So I'll just write here times with 20%, or I'll just write 0.2. Okay, so multiply with 0.2, or you want to write the 0.2 here also can. Okay, okay, the next step is the whole thing plus with deductible 400. Okay, Yeah lah, the formula is like that ma. You forget already ah. You see? Medical cost minus deductible. That's why I take X minus 400. Okay? X minus 400. And then multiply with small percent is direct 0.2. And then plus with deductible 400. Okay? So it becomes X minus 400 bracket times 0.2 and then the whole thing plus with 400. That's how you calculate the cost borne by policyholder, right? And then the whole thing equals to what? 16440 lah. Because that's the final answer for medical cost borne by Abdullah. Okay. So now you can find X. But how you find it? Okay, I recommend you don't expand this. Actually, you want to expand, you want to darab, kembang masuk, can also. Tapi I won't do it. The reason is because I can just pindah to the other side. Pindah 400, pindah 0.2, and then pindah 400, then you get the answer already. Because you're trying to find X. So if you want the X to be single, you just move one by one. Okay? Yeah, move one by one to the other side. But of course, you have to move the paling jauh punya dulu. The 400 have to go first. So it become 16440 plus 400 jadi minus 400. So it becomes 040. Right? Okay, so 400 go already. This one can cut already. Now move the 0.2. Okay, the 0.2, as you can see here, is times. So move there, become divide. So you press 16040, divide 0.2. So just press now 16040, divide 0.2. So I got 80200. So this one cut already. The last thing you have to pindah is the 400. Yeah, because you're trying to find X, right? So X, the negative 400, pindah jadi plus 400. So you take this plus 400, you get 80400. And that's the X already. Yeah, your X is this. Okay. So the answer is, sorry, 80200 plus 400 is 80600. Okay. So the answer is C. Okay. So hope you understand. So remember, medical insurance memang you kena tahu semua ni. Yeah. Yeah, for medical insurance, Christian, memang selalu you will use one of these formula. Okay, so make sure you remember this lah. Alright, that's all. Okay, 24. Okay, why is there a finger here? I don't know whose hand is this. If this is your finger, leave a comment. Let me know. Okay, I'm joking. Okay, 24. Table 5 shows the summary of Inchit Chan's financial plan. Okay, so this one is financial plan. So definitely from 4 chapter 10. Yeah, the consumer mathematics. Uh, what is it? Financial management, right? Urusan kewangan. Okay, the salary is 4,800. This is something you plus. Passive income is X tak bagi, but income is something you plus. Total monthly fixed expenses 2,500. This one is something you have to minus. Monthly variable expenses. This one is perbelanjaan, something you minus. But it says 20% from total income. But the total income is this one plus this one, right? Okay, never mind. Later I nanti baru saya tengok. And then surplus. Okay, surplus is the surplus means positive cash flow. Yeah, it means when the cash flow is positive, we call it surplus of income. But what if you get negative cash flow? Then we call it deficit of income. Yeah, if it's negative cash flow. So basically, the positive cash flow you get here is 1740 lah. Okay, calculate the value of X. Okay, you need to use the cash flow formula. Yeah, the cash flow formula is total income minus with total expenses. That's the formula for cash flow. So what is the total income? 4800 plus X. That's the total income, active and passive. And then minus with total income, minus 2500, and then minus with this 20%, right? Okay, the 20% from total income will be 20 over 100 is 0.2. Multiply times with the total income is 4800 plus X. So it'll be like this, 4800 plus X. And I can actually expand this, right? So when you times inside the bracket, you have to times in times the two terms lah. So 0.2 times 4800. What do you get? 960. And then plus with 0.2x. So this is your total monthly variable expenses. So this one you have to write here lah. So minus 960 plus 0.2x. But have to put bracket. If you don't put the bracket, wrong already. Because if you see here, it's minus. So if you don't put bracket, then later you thought this one is plus 0.2. But actually it's minus. Yeah, because the next step, you become negative 960 minus 0.2x because of the bracket. So be very careful. Okay? Especially when there's two terms and you're trying to minus the two terms, you have to open the bracket. Okay, and what is the whole thing equals to? 1740, right? Yeah, lah, because 1740 is the cash flow. So you take this one plus this one minus this one minus this one equals to 1740. Okay. Okay, and also don't forget about this. X. Okay, the 480 minus 2500. I'll just do it now lah. So 4800 minus 2500. Okay, I get 2300. Okay, and then plus with this. Okay, now I can try to find x because that's what the question wants. So x dengan x boleh buat, number dengan number boleh buat. So 1x minus 0.2x, 0.8x. And then number dengan number boleh buat. 2300 minus 960, I'm gonna get 3260. And then here will be 1740. So to find x, I want the x to be single ma. So I have to pindah one by one lah. So the 3260 go there first. So become minus. Plus jadi minus. Wait, I get negative ah. Huh? Why I get negative? Okay, did I do something wrong here? Wait. 2300 minus 960. Guys, wait ah. 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8. 2300 minus 960 is what? Is 1340. Okay, I wrong here. This one is 1340. Maybe I tekan tambah tadi. Yeah, it should be minus, right? 2300 minus 960. Maybe I press plus, that's why I get it wrong. So this one is 1340. Yeah, this is correct. And then 0.8x, and then the 1340 go there, become minus. So 1740 minus 1340, that gives you 400. And then the finally x answer is 400 divided 0.8 lah. Okay, let's tekan. Alright, my calculator give me 500. So ada jawapan ke? Yes, A. And the soalan is also asked for x. So yeah, that's my x answer. Alright, that's it. Okay, let's continue. 25. Mean. Okay, the moment I see mean, then I know already it's measures of dispersion. Okay, so it's Form 4, chapter. Okay, measures of dispersion. This is for ungrouped data because yeah, dia tak ada class. So it's ungrouped data, and also it's which chapter? So measures of dispersion is chapter 8. Okay, it's chapter 8. Okay, wait, let me just take out my calculator. Okay, so chapter 8. Alright, now they says calculate the what? Mean of a set of number is p minus 3, p plus 4, 2p, 2p plus 4 is 15. So 15 is the mean. So the symbol for mean is like this, mean equals 15. And you need to know the mean formula also. Okay, mean formula is like this. Sum of x divided by n. Kalau tak ada frequency. Kalau ada frequency, then we use the different formula. Fx, sum of fx over sum of f. And if it's a group data, kalau ada class means group data, then the x have to take midpoint. You have to take midpoint for the x. Kalau ada class lah. You know what's class? Class is like that, like something like that. This is class. Okay, tapi ini bukan group data. It's not class, so we will not you be using this. We will do like this, right? So if the mean is 15, what we can do? We can actually take all these numbers, add together, and then divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers equals to 15, and we can find value of p, right? But the soalan never asked for p. The soalan asked for standard deviation. Okay, standard deviation formula is, okay, kalau tak ada frequency, the formula looks like this. Ada square root, standard deviation ada square root. So it's sum of x square over n minus mean square. Tapi kalau ada frequency, it will be sum of fx square divide sum of f minus mean square lah. Okay, but this question tak ada frequency, so we will just use this one. Alright, so imagine if you write this, and then minus mean square, right? But the mean I already know is 15, which is good. And then over n also I know already is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. But we will have a problem writing this because you have to take sum of x square. It means you have to take all the numbers square and then tambah. So it will be p square plus p minus 3 square and then plus everything, right? But if you look at all your answers, they are all tak ada P punya, right? Yeah, all the answers here tak ada P. So the P will be a problem later because yeah, I need the value of P in order to write this, right? Because the answer is all in a number like that. Yeah, it's not in terms of P. So that means I have to try to find P first. Because without the P, I cannot get my standard deviation answer in this format. So what I have to do is, instead of doing standard deviation first, I first need to find out use the mean formula to get the p value first. So what's the formula for mean? Use this formula. Sum of x, it means sum of all the data, all the numbers. So p plus p minus 3 plus p plus 4 plus 2p plus 2p plus 4, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. Okay. Okay, we don't have to worry about the bracket. It's because everything you plus ma. So even if you have two term, when you plus the bracket, you can just erase it because it's not going to affect anything if it's plus. If it's minus, then only you have to be careful with the bracket. Okay, so p plus p is 2p, 2p plus p is 3p, plus 2p 5p, plus 2p 7p. And then negative 3 plus 4 is 1, 1 plus 4 is 5. And then the 5 can pindah here jadi darab, it becomes 75. And then 7p equals 75 minus 5 is 70, so p is 70 divided 7 is 10. Use your calculator to help you for this part. Alright, after you get your p10, now you can sub inside, then you get your first number already. So your first number is 10, because it's p, right? So 10, but you have to square and then plus with the next number square. Okay, the next number is p minus 3, which is 10 minus 3, so 7 square. And then plus with the next number, which is p plus 4, so 10 plus 4 is 14, and you have to square it, plus 2p, which is 2 times 10, which is 20, and then square it, and then the last number is 2p plus 4, it means 2 times 10 plus 4, so 20 plus 4 is 24, and then square. Why I have to square? Because that's the formula. For standard division, you have to take sum of x squared. It means you have to take all the numbers square and then jumlahkan. Okay. Alright, now let's calculate our standard division. Alright, I will not straight away write the final answer. I will dapatkan atas punya total dulu, and then write it like this. Then only I will write my final answer here. Okay. Okay, now let's press 10 square plus 7 square plus 14 square plus 20 square plus 24 square. So you get 1321. Now 1321, or you can use the answer, divide 5 minus 15 square button square root answer. Okay, in decimal is 6.2609. So I see the answer already lah. If I write in 4 significant figure, it's 261. So very obvious lah, the answer is A. Okay, so that's it. Okay, 26. Let's go. Puan Lim owns a residential house in Jeram. She received property as, okay, this one is from 5, chapter 4, and it's under Cukai Pintu, because property assessment tax, right? And guys, if you all facing SPM soon, you all need to know this. This property assessment tax, they actually ask very often. Yeah, the Cukai Pintu, they ask a lot, like many times. Yeah, because I do a lot of trial paper, so I'm very familiar with what's the famous exam question. And this property assessment tax, they ask a lot. Okay, it's not susah, dia tak susah, but make sure you know it, because they always ask this. So I will straight away give you the property assessment tax formula. So the property assessment tax formula for 1 year, the formula is annual value. In Bahasa Melayu is the nilai tahunan, annual value, times with the PAT rate. And the rate is always in percent. And I want to talk about the annual value also. So the annual value actually come from where? It actually comes from monthly rent times 12. Yeah. So if they don't give you the annual value, but they give you monthly rent, you can just times 12 to get the annual value yourself. Okay. Yeah. So this is the formula that you need to hafal. You need to remember. Okay. Okay. And the PAT rate is always in percent. Okay. So let's read the soalan. She received property assessment tax bill from Kuala Selangor Municipal Council. So this is the authority in charge of the Cukai Pintu lah, the district council or the Majlis Daerah. Okay, so it is given that the annual value is 6406. So you know already, this one masuk 6406. And the property assessment tax rate is X percent. Oh, they actually don't give you the X percent. So it means they have to give me this lah. If they don't give me this, then how am I supposed to do it, right? So let's keep reading. Calculate the value of X, which is the rate, if the property assessment tax payable by Puan Lim for each half year is 160.15. Alright, you know that this spot is for you to write the property assessment tax for 1 year. But this one, 160.15, is for half year. So times 2 lah, to get for 1 year. Or you can also say this one divide by 2. Okay? Okay lah, but I think it's better I write like that. Okay? Okay, so what I will do now is I will leave the X over 100 here, and I will press 160.15 times 2 divide 6406, because this one pindah sana. So tekan 160.15 darab 2 bahagi 6406. So my calculator give me 0.05. Okay, 0.05. So now it's very easy already. To find X, you simply times with 100. So you get 5. And automatic, it will come out in percent already. So C is the answer. Okay. Alright, I want to mention another way to write this. You can just, if you don't want to write X over 100, you can write X only also can. But if you write X only, then the answer that comes out will be will be 0.05 lah. Then you have to times 100 yourself lah. It means if here you write X, it means you have to times 100 to change to percentage. Okay lah, but that's just a small issue. No need to worry too much about that. Okay, so yeah, that's all. Sudah siap? Okay, 27. What is this? Income tax. So let me see. Okay, like that. All right. So I give you the step to calculate income tax. So I write it here. So I'll give you now. So do you know how to calculate income tax? So to find income tax, the step number one is to calculate chargeable income. In Bahasa Melayu, it's called pendapatan bercukai. So to calculate the chargeable income or the taxable income, pendapatan bercukai, you have to take the total annual income minus with tax exemption minus with tax relief. And for tax exemption, they usually give it in the form of donation. Okay. And then tax relief ada banyak lah. Tax relief is like KWSP, medical expenses. Yeah, banyak. Banyak example. Okay, step two is you use your chargeable income. You refer to the table. You refer table. And when you refer table, you can get these two things, the base tax and the balance. In Bahasa Melayu is the cukai dasar and the cukai baki. Okay, and then step three, you take your income. Step three, you can count your income tax. Step three, you can get your income tax. Just take your base tax, cukai dasar, plus with the balance, cukai baki, minus with the rebate. And then rebate ada dua jenis. Okay, I need space for this. Okay, never mind lah, just right here lah. Okay, rebate ada dua jenis. Satu jenis we call is the 400 rebate. But you will only get the 400 rebate when your chargeable income CI does not exceed 35,000. Does not exceed, tidak melebihi 35,000. And then another rebate is zakat. Okay. And kalau if the person has zakat, you will see it in the question. Okay. But this one they will not mention it in the question. So you have to, how to say, be aware of this lah. You have to memorize this. Okay. And you have to check yourself. Because they will not remind you to check. This one zakat they will give in the soalan one, but this one they will not tell you in the soalan. You have to sendiri check. Okay, that's the three steps to calculate income tax. Actually, there's one more step. Step four is called the PCB, but not all question has the PCB. And this question ada ke PCB? Okay, I don't see PCB here, so it means tak ada lah. So you only have to do until step three. Okay, but let me mention a bit for the step four PCB. PCB is like after you get your income tax, you still have to minus with the PCB. Okay, and if they give you PCB, the questions you have to times 12 first. After times 12, you compare the PCB total with the income tax. If the income tax is higher than the PCB, that means you take the income tax minus PCB, and that means you lebih bayar. Sorry, you kurang bayar. Yeah, if your income tax higher than PCB, it means you take tax minus PCB, you get positive, so the one is kurang bayar. But if you take your tax minus PCB, you get negative. That means your PCB is higher lah. That means it's lebih bayar. Okay, but this question they never ask for that, so I'm not gonna go into details for that. But that one you have to make sure you know also, the PCB, because usually student always forget whether which one is lebih bayar, when is kurang bayar. Okay, but this question never ask for that lah. Okay, so let's come back to the question. Table 6 shows the individual income tax rate. So this is the table, and we need to refer table when we do step 2 later, right? Okay, but let's read the question here. Puan Noria. Okay, let's scroll down a bit. Okay, I'll use red color. Okay, Puan Noria has a total annual income of 70820. So this is the one lah. Total annual income 70820. And then including allowance in the year 2023, given that the allowance amounting to 12350 are tax exempted. So this is the tax exemption. So have to minus with 12350. Okay, because that's the exemption. The tax relief claimed by Noria is 15720. So the tax relief is this one lah. So minus 15720. And then she paid zakat amounting to 350. Okay, you don't minus 350 here. If you minus the 350 here, wrong already. Because this is the zakat. Zakat is not exemption, it's not relief, it's the tax rebate. So you minus last kali. You minus last kali in the step 3, not in the step 1. So the zakat, you will leave it first. And then calculate income tax payable by Noria for that year. Okay, means you do until step 3 lah. Okay, so let's find out our CI first. So tekan all this lah. So what is 70820 minus 12350? Wait, 12350, and then minus 15720. Okay, my calculator give me 42750. And as you can see, this guy is not, he will not get the 400 rebate later. Yeah, because You will only get 400 when your chargeable income does not exceed 35,000. But now it's already exceed already. Sudah melebihi 35,000. So nanti tak ada 400 rebate lah. Okay. Yeah, student always forget to check this. So you all have to remember. Okay, but now it's time to do the step 2, which is refer table. So 42750, I'll refer to the table. Okay, which bracket belongs to this bracket, right? Because it's in between 35,000 and 50,000. And whenever we baca table, I always teach the same way. I always say just focus on this, this, and this. The rest all jangan tengok. Just tengok tiga ni cukup. Okay, which one is the base tax? Which is the balance? Base tax cukai dasar will be this one. First 35,600 ringgit, right? That's the base tax. Cukai dasar. So I write here, the base cukai dasar is 600. Now, how to get the balance? Cukai baki macam mana? Okay, this 600 ringgit is only for the first 35,000 ringgit. And then the remaining you have to times with 8%. It means you have to take the total chargeable income 42750 minus with 35,000 first. Yeah, because the first 35,000 you pay with the 600 ringgit already. And then the balance, that's why you have to minus, and then take the balance, multiply with 8%. That's how you get the balance. Okay. All right, let's press minus 35,000 darab 0.08. Okay, my calculator give to me 620. Okay, now what is the next step? Step 1 done. Step 2 also done. I get my base and balance. Step 3 income tax. So it will be base plus balance minus rebate. The base is 600. So right here. Balance is 620 right here. Minus with rebate. Okay, we have to check these two, right? Okay, I already checked the 400 just now. And this guy will not get the 400 because the chargeable income already exceeds 35,000. You only get the 400 when it does not exceed. Okay, so 400 tak dapat lah. But the zakat is 350. That one is tax rebate. That one have to minus here. Okay, that's why just now I said the 350 don't minus at the chargeable income. You minus last kali, right? So now press all this, you will get answer. What is 600 plus 620 minus 350? Okay, my calculator give me 870. So yeah, I see the answer already. So B boy. Okay, that's all. So make sure you all remember the steps to calculate income tax. All right, that's all. Okay, 28. A point Q moves on a Cartesian plane such that it is equidistant from R and S. State the locus of Q. Okay, this is a lower form chapter. And if I'm not mistaken, it's form 3. But I don't remember which chapter lah. Okay. Yeah, but it's a lower form chapter. Definitely lower form. Locus ma. Okay. Alright. This locus, usually they will ask us to draw one. They will ask us to draw. Or maybe they will ask us, they will give you A, B, C, D. And then you just check which one is the which one is the locus lah. Or sometimes they will ask in paper 2, they will ask you to draw yourself. Yeah, sometimes lah, not always, but they will sometimes ask you to draw the locus. And then you have to bring the compass to draw it. Because sometimes you have to draw a circle, sometimes you have to draw a straight line for the locus. Okay, there are times you have to draw a circle also. So, all right, let's do this question. Point Q moves on the Cartesian plane such that equidistant from R and S. Okay, R and S is two fixed point. What do I mean by fixed point? It means this point does not move. It's just a fixed point, right? And since it's at negative 1, 4, this is at 3, 4. So the point S will be same level with P. You know why same level? Because they both have the same Y coordinate. But the X coordinate is different lah. This one is negative 1, this one is 3. That's why they were at the same level. They are at the same level because they have the same Y coordinate, right? And the locus point Q will move with the condition that it's equidistant from R and S. It means the point Q will move so that it's equidistant from PS. So the locus Q will be a perpendicular bisector of PS. Okay, so let me tell you what it means. So if I join a line from P to S, it will be a horizontal line definitely because they have the same Y coordinate. And then the locus Q, they want it to be always equidistant from PS. That means it will be a line that cut this P. It will be, you just draw a line that cut this line in half. Cut it in half, and it has to be 90 degree, like this. And the distance here and the distance here has to be same lah. Okay. So this is the line. And this line we call it perpendicular bisector. Dalam bahasa Melayu, pembahagi dua sama serenjang. Okay. And if you got take at maths, they sometimes ask you to find the equation one for the perpendicular bisector. And if you're an math student, you have to know this. You have to use the distance formula, right? To find the locus equation. Okay. Yeah, you have to do like distance of PQ equals to distance of QS and then open the square root on both sides. Yeah. Okay, but that one is for maths. So let's come back to maths. So this is the answer. But if you look at ABCD, they write y-axis, x-axis, RS, x equals 1, right? So definitely, this one is R. Huh? Okay. Okay, so C is definitely wrong lah. How can it be RS? No. Your locus Q is, yeah, it's not RS, right? It's the RS punya perpendicular bisector. So C is wrong. So it's either A, B, or D. Okay, will it be the y-axis? No. And it won't be x-axis. The answer is D. Let me tell you why. Because this is negative 1, 4. It means the y coordinate here is 4. And then if you draw the x-axis, it will be somewhere down here. And then this is negative 1. And then this is 3, right? And negative 1 to 0, there's only 1 unit here. And then here there's 3 unit. Because this is 3, right? So the middle will be where? Wait. Tak logic, tak logic. The y-axis should be here lah. Betul lah? Yeah, because here got 1 unit and then here got 1, 2, 3. And then the perpendicular bisector is like exactly tengah-tengah. Tengah-tengah is here lah. And if you can see here, this is 1. So this is negative 1, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. This is 0, this is negative 1. Okay. So the middle is x equals 1 lah. It's a vertical line that cuts x-axis at 1. Okay, it's not x-axis, not y-axis lah. No, it's not. Because y-axis is not the middle. Okay. Okay, let me tell you another way to do it. If you want to find the middle between negative 1 and 3, just take negative 1 plus 3 divide 2 lah. Because that's how you find midpoint, right? If you do like that, then you no need to, you will not be confused already. Negative 1 plus 3 is 2, 2 divided 2 is 1. So now you know already the middle, negative 1 and 3, the exactly middle is 1. So that's the answer lah. So easy, that's all. Okay, that's all. Let's continue. All right, 29, what chapter? Image transformation. So from 5, chapter 5. Okay, given that P prime is the image of P under combination of transformation T square, where T is the translation 3, negative 2, and the coordinate of P prime is 5, 1, determine coordinate of object P. Okay, this one I always teach my student to draw the arrow. Yeah, if you takut confused, if you think it's confusing, just do the arrow. Okay, so usually the arrow, okay, why got 2 arrow? Because got 2 transformation, right? And you will write the object here, the final image here. And if you read again, it says P prime is the image of P under 2 transformation T square. So obviously it's TT, but P prime is the image after the true transformation. So P will be here, right? And then they say T is a translation 3, negative 2. 3, negative 2 means what? Okay, translation 3, negative 3, it means moving to the right. Negative 2 means move ke bawah. Nombor atas is for gerak kiri kanan punya, and if it's positive, gerak kanan lah. And then the number bawah is for gerak atas bawah, but if it's negative, gerak bawah. Okay, coordinate of P prime given is 5, 1, so here is right, 5, 1. So now determine coordinate of object P. So this is the answer. This is the answer. Okay, but how to get there? Okay, you have to do the transformation T in reverse. Because look at the arrow. The arrow is going this way, right? But they give you the image and ask you to find object. So you have to do it in the opposite direction. So you have to go back to here and then back to here like that, right? It means you are not just doing transformation T, you are doing transformation T in reverse. But how to do transformation T in reverse? Okay, T is translation 3, negative 2. And if you do it in reverse, you just change sign for the 2 numbers. So 3 become negative 3, negative 2 become 2. It means the direction have to do opposite. So kanan jadi kiri already. And then turun ke bawah jadi atas already. Because positive 2 already mah. So like that. Right? Okay, I pernah tengok satu student dia buat macam ni. I asked him like 3, negative 2 reverse. And then he said something like this. Negative 2, 3. Because he thought, okay, so if I do translation in reverse, I just terbalikkan these 2 number. No, wrong. This one is when you do enlargement in reverse. When you do enlargement in reverse, you take the scale factor, let's say it's 1/2, yeah, you terbalikkan jadi 2. That one is when you do enlargement in reverse. Then you take the scale factor, you terbalikkan your numerator and denominator. Okay. But when you do translation in reverse, the correct method is just change sign for both the number. It means you do the opposite direction. Instead of ke kanan 3, now jadi ke kiri 3. And then this one ke bawah negative, ke bawah 2 jadi ke atas 2 lah. So now you are doing translation negative 3, 2 from P prime. Okay. So again, I start from P prime and do translation in reverse. And I already reverse kan jadi negative 3 2. So I will just take 5 1 and then do this translation lah. Okay, you can use a fast way to do it. Just take 5, the x coordinate plus with the atas punya number, and then take the y coordinate plus with bawah punya number. So 5 minus 3, 5 plus minus 3 is 5 minus 3 is 2. And then 1, the y coordinate plus with 2, you get 3. Okay, of course you can do in the Cartesian plane and then count the box like that, can also. But since this question never give me the square grid, and also it's paper 1, so I will just do the fast way lah. Alright, 2 3 have to do one more time the translation, but you don't do 3 negative 2. You have to look at the direction. From here to here is 3 negative 2, but from here to here is negative 3 2, because you are doing translation in reverse. So you have to take same thing lah, 2 minus 3, negative 1, and then 3 plus 2 get 5. So the answer is A. Alright? Okay, so hope you understand how to find object from image. You have to do the transformation in reverse. Alright, that's all. Okay, number 30 is definitely from 4 chapter 7. Yeah, it's called GOM, graph of motion. Dalam bahasa Melayu, graph gerakan. And in this chapter, you learn about the DTG and the STG. Okay, let's read and see what is this, DTG or STG. Diagram 8 shows the distance time graph. So it's a DTG, distance time graph, of the motion of a car for a period of 4 hours. Okay, for DTG, you need to know one thing. The gradient of the graph will give you the speed. Yeah, if you don't know this, then it's very hard for you to jawab later. Okay, so the gradient will give you the speed. What about the area under graph? Okay, the area under graph will not represent anything, because they will not ask area under graph for distance time graph. They will only ask area for speed time graph. Okay, so only distance. So in distance time graph, you will only need to know this. The gradient represents speed. Okay, and if you look at the gradient formula, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? And what's the unit for y-axis? In kilometer. What is the unit for x-axis? In hours. So what happens to your formula when you do kilometer per hour? You get your speed in kilometer per hour lah. But what if this one is in minute or second? And what if the answer says they want in kilometer per hour? Then you have to convert lah. Okay. Yeah. So always look at the unit also when you are doing this chapter, because sometimes dia main dengan unit. Okay. Before I read the paragraph here, I want to observe the diagram first. Let's talk about what happens in this line. So what happens this line? You can see 2 hours. The distance go from 150 to here. So what happens here is move forward. Yeah, because as the time goes, the distance changes, right? So it's moving forward. Then what about here? Here is also moving, but it's moving in the opposite direction. So I'll just write move backwards. Okay, yeah, it's moving in the opposite direction. So it's move, but the distance traveled here is not, because it doesn't start from 0, it starts from 150. So the distance traveled here is P minus 150. But of course, I don't know what's P lah. But it's okay. I'm sure we can find it later. I'm sure they will give me some information to help me later. So far this is the story. Now let's read here. If the speed of car in the first 2 hours is 75, immediately you see speed, you think about gradient, because this is distance time graph. Okay, so if they say the speed of car is 75, that means the gradient is 75, because gradient of this graph is speed. So gradient equals to 75, and the unit is kilometer per hour, which is correct already, because the y-axis, x-axis is already in kilometer hour. Okay, but there's two lines. I need to find which line. First 2 hours of course talking about this line lah. So you're finding the gradient of this line equals to 75. So the formula is y minus y, x minus x. Let's write down the coordinate of this point, 2p, and then the coordinate is 0 150. And we don't have any issue with the unit, because the unit is already km hour. So just take y minus y, p minus 150 over x minus x, 2 minus 0. And you can find p from here, right? But I haven't finished reading the question yet. Let's see what I want. Calculate average speed in kilometer per hour of the car in duration of 4 hours. Okay, average speed formula is total distance divide total time. And the total time I already know is 4 hours. And the total distance I have to make sure is in kilometers. And I need to get my P to know what's the distance traveled here. That is why I need to do this first. Okay, so P minus 150 equals, okay, what's 2 minus 0? It's just 2, right? And then the 2 move here become time. So 75 times 2 is 150 also. So your P will be 150 minus 150, move there, become plus 150. 150 plus 150 is 300. Okay, so 300 is the P. But that's not the total distance. You don't go and write 300 here. No, wrong. That's wrong. So the total distance travel is not 300. The total distance travel, okay, let's break it down one by one. So the distance travel, this line berapa? it will be the it will be here from here to here, right? So it's not 300, it's 300 minus 150 because you start at here. So the distance traveled from here to here, you have to take 300 minus 150. So it's 150 km. That's the distance travel for the first 2 hours. But then you can see the next line, it moved backwards from the distance 300, move until here when the distance is at 0. That means the distance traveled here is 300 kilometers. Okay, so what is the total distance travel? 150 plus 300. Okay, yeah, 150 is the journey moving towards the destination, and then another one is moving backwards. Okay, so this is the how you do it. And also they want the unit in kilometer per hour, which is okay lah, because yeah, it's already, the distance is already in kilometer, time is in hours, so it's good. Okay, 450 divide 4, what is the answer? Let me press 112.5, and automatic the unit is already ngam already, kmh already. So the answer is B, boy. Okay, this is how I will do it. Hopefully you understand my explanation. Let's continue. Okay, 31. This is a variation question, but they never ask it the normal way. They ask like this. Which of the following shows that y varies directly as x? Okay, this kind of question, I remember teaching my own student how to do this. So the method I teach is, okay, first of all, let's write the ikan symbol first. The ikan symbol, this is the symbol for relationship. So if I say y varies directly as x, by the way, it's from 5 chapter 1. I forget to mention the chapter. The variation. Okay, let's continue. Y varies directly as x means y and then ikan. And if it's directly means you tulis atas dengan atas. Kalau inversely is atas dengan bawah. So directly as x is like this. Okay. And the next step is change the ikan symbol to equal and then letak k and then x, right? And most of the question, they will give you the yx here. They will give you the yx here and then you sub inside and then you find k. After you find k, you rewrite the whole thing. Then you check what the question wants. Usually that's how you do the variation question. But this is a bit different because they bagi dalam table and then ask you which of the following shows that y varies directly as x. So for this type of question, the way I do it is like this. I will tell my student to find k from here. Yeah, to find k from here. Okay. But how to find, sir? They never give me yx. It's okay. It's okay. Just, I know they never give, but it's okay. Just do it like this. Y over x. Yeah, just write it yx. That means to get your k, to get your constant, the k is called constant. To get your constant, the formula is you have to take y divided by x. So what you have to do now? Go to ABCD, try to find k for all these values. And if all the k here is same, that means that's the answer. Okay. If the k is different, then it's wrong. Then that one is not the correct answer. Okay, it has to be all k answer correct. Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. So first thing, you find the k by using this formula, y over x. So your y over x will be 36 divided 1 is 36. What's the next one? Y divided x, 18 divided 2 is 9. So as you can see, the k here and k here not same already. So we don't have to try the rest already, because this two is already differently. It has to be all of it. The k give you same answer, then only that's the answer. Okay, let's come do it one more time. K, the formula says here is y over x. So 8 divided 2 is 4. This one is 27 divided 3 is 9. So wrong already because it's not same already. Let's do for this one. 3 divided 1 is 3. 24 divided 2 is 12. Okay, not same, wrong already. So this one is k, y over x. 6 divided 1 is 6. 12 divided 2 is 6. K is 18 divided 3, 6 also. And then what is the k here? Y divided x. 24 divided 4, 6 also. You can see all the k is 6, 6, 6, 6. So D is the answer. Okay. Okay, why have to choose the one where all the k answer is same? Because k is constant. What is constant? A fixed number lah. A fixed number. Fixed number means the number yang tak boleh tukar is a fixed number. It's a fixed constant. Constant. Tak berubah. So number tu tak boleh berubah. Tak boleh berubah. Tak boleh 36, 9 ataupun 4, 9 or 3. Tak boleh. Dia kena tak berubah. 6, 6, 6, 6. So that's why you do it like that. Right? So just remember, if you stumble upon question like this, you jangan rasa macam oh benda ni susah. Tak susah pun. Just get your K and find out how to get your K, and then just find your K from the table and see which one gives you the same K for all pairs of values. Okay, hope you get it. That's all. Alright, 32. This one is the normal variation question lah. Yeah, the regular one. Yeah, the one that you sudah biasa one. Alright, the last question they give is the table one, right? Okay, but this one they come back to the normal variation already. So step 1 is write the ikan, and then step 2 equal k, step 3 find k, step 4 rewrite, and then check what the question wants. Okay, so step 1, let's read. Given that f varies inversely as the square root of g, and f is 2, g is 16, express f in terms of g. Okay, why do you think they give you the f and g? to find K later lah. Yeah, to find K. Okay. Yeah, you need the F and G to find K later, but not now. Now you have to write the ikan first. So F varies inversely, so use the ikan symbol. Inversely means you have to write atas dengan bawah. So the square root of G you tulis bawah. And then nothing up here is 1 over. Alright, next thing is you tukar this symbol to equal K. And when you write K, the K have to times with the 1 over square root G. And when you take K times with fraction, you darab atas sahaja. You multiply atas, so it becomes K over square root G like this. And the next step is to find K. Now is the time to sub the F and G inside to find K. And and when you find K, you need to have the complete information. It means you have to need to have both the F and G. You tak boleh ada F saja, you kena ada both. So definitely the question will give you both. So F is 2 and G is 16 like this. Okay, square root 16 you press you get 4, so your K will be 4. Pindah sini jadi times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. After you get your K, rewrite the K inside here. So it becomes F equals 8 over square root G. And if you read the question, it says express F in terms of G, so this is the answer. F in terms of G. Okay, B is wrong, A is wrong, C is wrong, D lah. Okay, this is quite easy, that's all. Okay, 33. Which of the following is a measures of dispersion? In Bahasa Melayu, dispersion is called serakan. Okay, mean, no, median, no, mode, no, variance. Yeah, that's the answer. Okay, let's talk about measures of dispersion. Measures of dispersion. Sukatan serakan. Okay, what is sukatan serakan? Sukatan serakan measures of dispersion is something used to measure the dispersion of data, or you can say something that we can use to measure the consistency of data. And we can use range. There's 4 measures of dispersion: range, interquartile range, variance, and standard deviation. This is what we use to calculate the consistency of the data or the dispersion. If the dispersion very small, that means the consistency very consistent. If your dispersion very big, that means less consistent. Okay, understand? So if your dispersion answer very big, it means less consistent. But if your dispersion very small, it means very consistent. So for example, if your range is like very small, that means very consistent. Because range formula is maximum minus minimum. And if your maximum minus minimum is very small value, that means your data is very consistent. Okay. But if your range is very big, it means your dispersion, your serakan is very besar. It means it's less consistent. Okay. Same with the standard deviation. If your standard deviation very high, not consistent. But if standard deviation very low, that means very consistent. Okay. Okay, so that is measures of dispersion. Another one that you learn in lower form is called measures of central tendency. This one you learn in lower form. Central tendency. Okay. Okay, tendency ada 3: mean, median, mode. That's all. Mean, median, mode. Wait, I think I should write it in Bahasa Melayu. This one is sukatan, serakan. You nak measure berapa serak data tu. Serak means like disperse. Serak. How messy it is. Like how messy is the data. Serak. Central tendency is sukatan, kecenderungan, cenderung, memusat. Okay. Alright, let's talk about the difference. Measures of dispersion, you're trying to measure how dispersed is the data, how consistent is the data. But measures of central tendency is you're trying to get the center value. You're trying to get the pusat, the center of the data. And you can use mean. Yeah lah, because mean is like average. So it's like, for example, my BM I get 50 marks. My English I get 67 marks. Mathematics I get 30 marks. So to get the center value, I just find the mean lah. Everything add together plus divide 3 like that. So that's one of the way to get the center value. Another way is to find the median, because median is the middle number ma. So the middle number can represent the center value also. And then mode is you choose the number that appear the most times, the number that has the highest frequency. Yeah, so that will also one of the way to measure the central tendency of the data, to get the center value of data. So as you can see, mean, median, mode, the ABC, these are all measures of central tendency. These are all measures to measure the center value, to get the center value. Okay, but they are asking for dispersion, so this is the 4 dispersion: range, interquartile range, variance, and so D is the answer. Okay, I talk for a long time already, and I tell you a lot of extra knowledge here, but I think it's helpful, and I think most students don't know about this, so I feel like it's important lah, so I just mention it to you. Okay, so make sure you know this. All right, 34. Given the class interval of data is 6.55. Okay, this is definitely group data. Measures of dispersion for group data, and it's form 5 because it's group data, right? Okay, chapter berapa? 7. So it's the measures of dispersion and it's the group data punya. Sukatan serakan untuk data terkumpul because ada class. Alright, the class is 6.51 and then 6.60. Determine the upper boundary of the class interval. Okay, upper boundary means sempadan atas, and how you calculate that? Just take the upper limit of the class plus with the next number divide 2. But how to get the next number? Alright, this is in 2 decimal place. 6.51. So this is also 2 decimal place. So in between will be 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 57, 58, 59, 60, and next one will be 6.61. Okay, you don't tell me something like, oh sir, 6.601. No lah, this one become 3 decimal place already. It's 2 decimal place ma. So 6.60, what comes next? 6.61, 2 decimal place. And don't tell me something like 6.7 or something. No, 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 no. 6.7 is only 1 decimal place. So yeah, this is the next number. And then you take these two number, add together, divide by 2. That's how you find upper boundary. So again, how to find upper boundary? Take the highest limit, upper limit of the class, plus with the next number, divide by 2. So you get 6.605 if you press your calculator. Alright, that's all. 35. Matrix times matrix equals to matrix. So this one is definitely from 5 chapter 2, the matrices chapter. Which of the following simultaneous linear equation represent the equation of matrix above? Okay, so they never actually ask you to solve for xy. So that's good lah. Because if they ask for do xy, then banyak kerja already. You have to pindah this to the other side, cari the inverse, and then after getting inverse, kena darab dengan this matrix to get the answer. But they never ask for that. Instead, they ask you to convert balik to the equation. Okay, so how do you convert balik? This is already written in the matrix format, so you want to convert back to equation. So how to do it? All right, usually the equation will be like okay, the first bracket, all these numbers will be the number before xy. So let's write it first. 2, -1, 4, 3. Let's leave some space here. And then the xy means what? Okay, the atas x means the first number have to write x beside, and then y is for the second number, y like that. And then equal. Okay, the 22 atas, 36 bawah. Done lah. That's the answer. If there's nothing in between, means plus. So now we just check A, B, C, D and see which one match with this. Okay, A is wrong. Wait, A is correct. Yeah, A is correct. Because 2x equals to y plus 22. If you move the y over here, it becomes 2x minus y. You see? 2x minus y equals to 22. Same also. 4x plus 3y, 36. Same also. So A is the answer. Okay, let's see why BCD is wrong. 2x minus y is 22. Okay, this one is matched with the first one. 4x equals 3y plus 36. No, because the 3y, when you move it here, become 4x minus 3y, but it should be plus 3y. So this is wrong. What about C? 2x plus y. This one wrong, Lila. It's 2x minus y equals 22. This one is 2x plus y, 22. So wrong. So the rest no need to take out. Okay, D. 2x plus 4. Ini lagi salah lah. Ini lagi teruk. Okay. Negative x. Okay, ini lagi teruk lah. If you bulat D, then I don't know what to say. So yeah, so A is the answer. Alright, that's all. 36. Another matrix question from 5 chapter 2. Okay, given matrix tambah matrix equals to matrix, calculate value of W. Okay, when you buat tambah tolak matrix, you have to make sure the order have to be exactly same. It means the number of row and number of column has to be same for all the matrix. So let's determine the order first. This one is 2 by 2, 2 row 2 column. This one also 2 by 2. This one also 2 by 2, 2 row 2 column. And as you can see, when you take 2 row 2 column plus 2 row 2 column, your answer would be matrix yang 2 row 2 column also. Okay, and how you plus? Atas kiri tambah atas kiri dapat atas kiri. Ya, atas kiri mah. Nah, the top left plus the top left plus equal top left. So 4 plus 0 gives you 4. And then atas kanan 6 tambah with atas kanan 3W equals to negative 15. So 6 plus 3W equals negative 15. Okay. And if you do bawah kiri plus bawah kiri equals bawah kiri. And if you try memang betul, negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6. And if you do 5 plus 9, you get 14. Right? So they want to find W, right? So just find it from here lah. 3W equals to 6 pindah jadi minus 6. Negative 15 minus 6 is negative 21. And then W is negative 21 divide 3 is negative 7. Okay. Yeah, you can use your calculator to help you for this part. Alright, that's all. Okay, I'm going to continue with 37. What chapter is this? From 3 chapter 9. It's called the straight line chapter. Okay, diagram 9 shows line PQ and RS drawn on the Cartesian plane. Okay, I can see it. The straight line PQ and RS are parallel. So parallel, immediately put the arrow here. The arrow here means what? Means they are parallel. Parallel dalam bahasa Melayu selari. And if they are selari, their gradient is the same. So the gradient of PQ and the gradient of RS equal. Yeah, they have same gradient. Okay, given the equation of straight line RS is this. Oh, this is good because if they give you equation, you can get your gradient already from the equation. So let's go to RS and write the equation beside negative 10 over 3x minus 2. And you can see they already write it in the mx plus c format. Yeah, they already write it in this format, y equal mx plus c. So you can straight away get your m and c from the equation easily already. So the m is negative 10 over 3. And don't forget, the other line also will have the same gradient because they are parallel, right? And one more thing is the negative 2. That's the c y-intercept, right? So look at this line. Where is the y-intercept? Where's the intercept y? Point S, right? So point S is negative 2, right? So usually when they give you equation, you can always get your gradient and y-intercept. So if you pandai label, you will get a lot of information just from, you see, they only give me one information and I get so many things, right? Okay, now they say find value of m. Okay, I think they are referring to this m. Okay, so I don't think I'll be using the negative 2 lah. Okay, but it's good that you label like this also, because if you can label like this when you're doing paper 2, then you can do all the questions. Yeah, you can do it easily lah, basically. Because sometimes you always complain, say like, oh sir tak cukup information lah, ini lah itu lah, but sebenarnya they just didn't label completely. That's why they didn't label nicely, so that's why they always think not enough information. Okay, so it's always good to label whenever you see some information. Even though you don't end up using it, just label it. All right, so how to find m? Referring to this m, right? Okay, the information I have regarding this line is the gradient. Okay, and the gradient actually come from this line gradient because they are parallel, right? They are same gradient. So just use the gradient formula, y minus y over x minus x. That's the gradient formula. So y minus y, m minus negative 4, so it becomes m plus 4, and then negative 1 minus 2, and then the gradient is negative 10 over 3. Okay, m plus 4, I'll write it here. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3 equals to negative 10 over 3. Okay, for this, I will not darab silang. I will not cross multiply because my m duduk atas. Okay, yeah, so I will not darab silang. Instead, I will just pindah the negative 3 jadi darab, and then pindah the 4 jadi minus, then siap already. So m plus 4 equals to negative 10 over 3. The whole negative 3 pindah jadi times negative 3. Okay, negative number times negative number give you positive, and then 10 over 3 times 3, the 3 can cut left with 10. So m plus 4 equals to 10, so m equals to 10 minus 4, 6. So C is the answer. Okay, okay, usually I will only darab silang when it's something over something equals something or something, and the unknown is dekat bawah. It's like when you want to find x or when you find m, and the unknown is at the bawah, then only I darab silang. Okay, but actually this one you want to darab silang also can. You'll get the same answer also. Believe me. Yeah, but usually I will only do darab silang when the one thing that I want to find duduk dekat bawah fraction. Then only I will darab silang. Okay, so for this, I will just do it like this because this is the easier way. Alright, that's all. Okay, 38. Given the okay cos so from 5 chapter 6 trigonometric function. Okay, cos theta is negative 0.454 and the theta is in between 180 and 360. Calculate the value of theta. Alright, first thing first is we have to check the quadrant. Yeah, because when you tekan calculator nanti you cannot tekan shift cos negative 0.454. That's the wrong way to do it. Okay, that's the wrong way to do it. You cannot tekan the negative because the negative only indicates quadrants. So you have to check which quadrant you want, and then later you have to get your RA first, your reference angle. And how to get your reference angle? You have to tekan shift cos 0.454. Cannot tekan the negative. Okay. After you get your RA, then only you convert to the quadrant you want. Okay. So let's check which quadrant first. So you have add sugar to coffee. And how to convert your RA to your quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant. So to convert is 180 minus 1 to 2, 1 to 3 is 180 plus, 1 to 4 is 360 minus. That's how you convert to from quadrant 1 to quadrant 2, 3, 4. Okay, cos bernilai negative. If your cos answer negative, confirm which quadrant? 2 and 3. Because if cos positive is 1 and 4 this one all positive, cos positive. So quadrant cos negative is 2 and 3. And then they also give you a range here. They say the theta answer has to be in between 180 and 360. If your angle is more than 180, means confirm it's not quadrant 1, 2 already. It's quadrant 3. And if it's less than 360, it's quadrant 4 included also. Okay. So in the end, you will choose quadrant 3 as your final answer. Because you will choose yang dua-dua, that, how to say? Kena ikut dua-dua syarat. So cos negative, that means it's quadrant 2, 3. And then in between 180, 360 is quadrant 3, 4. So the final answer should be in quadrant 3. So the answer is A. Eh, quadrant 3 is more than 180 but less than 270. B is the answer. A is quadrant 4 answer. C is a quadrant. Oh, C is also quadrant 3. Yeah. Okay, D is quadrant 1. And then this one is quadrant 3. More than 180, less than 270, right? Okay, so actually we don't know B or C. Okay, okay, I try to be smart just now because it's paper 1, right? So I want to check whether I can just see which one quadrant 3 and get the answer. But there's two quadrant 3 answers, so I think we need to tekan calculator lah. So now it's time to tekan. You tekan shift cos, but don't tekan the negative. Okay, so you get 62.99, which is 63 degrees. But this is not the answer. This is just the reference angle. What is reference angle? Reference angle means the angle in quadrant 1 only. But you want quadrant 3, right? So convert to quadrant 3, then that's how you get your theta lah. 63 plus 180, 243. So that's the answer B. Okay, there's actually another answer in quadrant 2. And to get quadrant 2 answer is 180 minus the 63. But why I didn't do that is because they said the answer they want in between 180 and 360. So the quadrant 2 answer, we will end up rejecting it. That's why. Ah. Same reason for why I didn't take quadrant 4 lah. Because cos negative, it cannot be in quadrant 4. Quadrant 4, cos must be positive. Okay, that's why you only take the quadrant 3 answer which satisfy both the condition here. Okay, all right, hope you understand. Okay, 39, another trigonometry from 5 chapter 6, but this one they ask for the graph. Yeah. Okay, diagram text shows path of the graph y equals 3 sine 2x. Tentukan nilai P. Okay, if 3 sine 2x means the period will be 180, so B is the answer. Okay, to explain this, first you need to make sure you know the sine graph and you know the coordinate for sine x. So this is y equals sine x, and usually for my own student I will ask them to memorize the coordinates. So it will be 0, 0, and when you reach here it will be exactly at 91, and then this will be 180, 0, and then this will be 270, negative 1. Okay, it means here is 270, and then this is 360, 0. So I have to make sure you know these coordinates. And what's the meaning of 3 sine 2x? Okay, if you don't even know this, then ini lagi tak boleh already, right? So make sure you at least know the y equals sine x graph. Make sure you know the coordinate and the shape also. Okay, what is the meaning of 3 sine 2x? Okay, what is the meaning of sine 2x? The sine 2x here means you have to compress the graph horizontally. You have to compress the sine graph horizontally. Okay, because sine 2x means you have to draw two sine graph dalam 360. Ini berapa sine graph dalam 360? Ini satu sine graph dalam 360. But sine 2x means you have to draw two sine graph dalam 360. So what happens is you have to compress the graph so that you can fit two sine graph like that, right? Now imagine if you compress this graph, what's gonna happen to the x coordinate? It will change, right? But the y coordinate will stay the same because the y coordinate never change because you compress horizontally. The y coordinate stay the same, but all the x coordinate change, 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 change. And how it will change? It will divide by 2 because it's 2x. If it's 3x, then divide by 3 lah. Okay, so this will change to 45 already. If it's sine 2x lah, so this will become 45 1 already. And then this 180 becomes 90 0 already. And then this becomes 270 divided to 135. Negative 1. And then the P becomes 360, become 180 already. That's how I managed to get the answer so fast. Because I see the 2x, immediately I know already. Because I hafal, okay, because I know for sine 1x, this will be 360. So if it's sine 2x, I just do it fast in my head, 360 divided 2, and straight away I bullet the answer. Okay. But sir, what about the 3? Okay, the 3 is just the amplitude. That just means that the highest here is 3, negative 3. So that just means the y coordinate all become 3, negative 3 like that. Okay, yeah, it doesn't affect the x coordinate. It doesn't affect the p because p is the x coordinate. That's why the 3 doesn't affect the p value. Okay, all right. So hopefully you understand. That's how I would do it. All right, that's all. Okay, finally we are at the last question. Okay, let's finish it. Diagram 11 shows an arrangement of triangular tiles on a wall that produce a tessellation. What is tessellation? Tessellation is a pattern of repeating shapes and they cannot have any empty space and overlap. So tessellation is what? It's a pattern of recurring shape. It means the shape is keep on repeating, same shape repeating, without leaving any empty space in between and without any overlapping. Okay, so as you can see, everything is like tight. There's no empty space and there's no overlapping. So now they says what? Which of the transformation involved to produce P and R from Q? Means Q is the object because from Q ma. So from Q to P, okay, I think this is reflection lah. Yeah, you reflect using this line, right? You just reflect atas, right? Rotation, no. Translation, lagi teruk. How can this be translation? Okay, Q is like that. The tajam one is pointing down, but the P is going up, so it cannot be translation. Because translation, the orientation cannot change one. If the tajam pointing down, after you translate, the tajam still have to point down. But this one changed already, so it's definitely reflection. So the answer is D. Reflection, right? Okay, let's check for this also. So from Q to R is translation. Is this true? So from Q to P, that's reflection, obviously. And then from Q to R, okay, this one is, yeah, this one is translation, because as you see they both have the same orientation. You see the tajam pointing down, pointing down. So this is translation. You gerak kanan and then you gerak bawah, you end up with this, right? Yeah, the rest all cannot lah. Reflection, rotation, yeah, all wrong. So D is the answer. All right, I'm done with the whole paper. Kertas peperiksaan tamat. All right, if you want more, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also, if you are interested in gaining early access to all my future upload, you can join my member. Yeah, all the link is in the description. If you're interested, you can join the member lah. And if you join my member, you get to watch my videos 1 week early. Yeah. All right, that's all for this video. I'll see you next video. Bye bye.